Salute, 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 and welcome. Welcome back over to the Black Ocean, ladies and gentlemen. You're now swimming in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. And yes, you saw the title and the thumbnail. Today, we are going to be dealing with the Titanic Tetherwench Super Sambit clown, Candace Owens. Oh, yes, I got to light this bitch on fire today. And you can already tell by my tone that I'm pretty much going to lay into her tonight as she should be laid into. It's been quite some time since I've done it, but she's gone too far this time. But we're going to get into that in just a minute. Oh, yeah, because, see, family, let me open this broadcast tonight, here this evening here, or wherever you are. It may be night with some looking in, depending on where in the world you are, and it may be evening for some. But let me open the broadcast this way. First and foremost, and I feel the responsibility to take the time to say it because I like to be accurate and clear with any type of message that I present to you all on my platform or anybody that happens to catch any of the live streams on the playback. To my brothers and sisters, everywhere that you are, okay, in the global Black diaspora, continental Africans and Caribbeans, I want you particularly to pay close attention to tonight's broadcast because when you hear us use the term tether, this is a grade A example of what we mean, okay, as far as the female version, all right? Candace Owens, oh, yes. See, my good brother Torian Rain calls her the coonstress, an aptly named title because this is royal Sambit behavior right here. We're going to look at several disturbing things here tonight. Oh, yes, we are, because, see, family, one of the things that we're going to have to start drawing a hard line of demarcation saying about is when these people like her try to speak on our behalf or anybody or any group, no matter which political party it is. And as you all know, let me go ahead and get this out the way. I am neither liberal nor conservative. I am not Democrat or Republican. I am black first. That's my stance on that. Everybody should know it just for the record. But see, when it comes to either of these parties or organizations trying to put people like her as our spokespeople, we got to make sure that they know that no, she has no authority nor right to speak for us. This disgusting maggot is a disgrace to all Caribbean people. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're of Caribbean blood and you are on code and you are proud of your heritage and who you are, you should agree with that statement by the time you finish seeing what we have here tonight. Because, see, family, she's gone too far this time. And she doesn't understand that she's nothing more than a mascot. We're going to prove that here tonight with several things. But, see, the first thing that we're going to have to analyze are the statements and comments that she made about our good brother, the departed and murdered by a cowardly white supremacist, Jordan Neely. Oh, yeah. See, when you start coming at my people like that, I'm going to come at you. See, let me make something clear also, too, because I want a lot of sisters listening to me to understand what I'm about to say. Because sometimes people will ask me why I use the term bitch. Let me tell you what that term is when I use it. Bitch doesn't apply to any and every woman. See, what a bitch is a female masquerading as a woman. And that's what Candace Owens is. She's a bitch. I will not allow this bitch to hide behind the honorable title, the honorable earned title of womanhood. No, I will not. I have no shame calling her what she is. Other people may choose not to. That's their prerogative. I don't mince words on this platform, okay? So I just wanted to get that part clear. When I say bitch, a motherfucker that I call that deserves it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, this ain't the PG-13 channel over here with certain things. There are certain broadcasts that I will keep a certain tone for, but sometimes you just need to put things out there like they need to be said. PukeTube is going to be very upset tonight, so expect the shenanigans early on. But before we get into that subject matter, I will greet those of you that I see joining us here tonight. Let me go over here to the chat room and scroll up. See who all we got to join us. Oh, my good sister, a little country lamb in the building. I see you, good sister. Welcome. William Kenneth joining us tonight. Patricia Jenkins, the moderator on deck. Charlie X is in the house. Patricia Slade. My good brother, Kid Gravity Beyond. Salute to this brother. Now, this is an on code Jamaican brother, okay? Salute to this good brother. See, that's an example of the people who are in the global black diaspora who are our allies. Go subscribe to that brother's channel and check him out. He has great content. Mickey Briggs 2.0. Oh, yeah, it's good, brother. I had to call her Tetherwench. You know me. You'll hear terms over here that you won't hear anywhere else because, see, let's break it down real quick before I greet the rest of the chat room. It's obvious that she's a tether, okay? Self-explanatory. And a wench because, yeah, she's married to a conservative zaddy. So, Tetherwench. There it is. Oh, yeah. See, I introduce new lingo into the lexicon all the time over here. You had to do it, brother. I had to do it. Salute to my good brother, the computer maker and the beat maker. CRU Reality in the building. Welcome. Okay, let's see. Scrolling down here back to the basics. Salute to you, good sister. Welcome. Diesel Mike in the building. Salute to you. Iron Will, what's going on, my brother? Melvin Harris in the building. Let's see who else I see here as I scroll down. Heat St. Cloud, welcome. And Phantom Gamer 114. Salute to everybody that's over here that will be joining us in attendance tonight. Let me know also if I'm coming in loud and clear on the microphone before PewTube starts shenanigans. I do monitor the chat room very closely, so if there's any issues, do bring that to my attention and we will get that corrected. So before we get underway, let me know, give me a quick thumbs up. Everybody that's joining us, if you can hear me loud and clear with no issues. If there are any issues, I would like to go ahead and get them fixed before we get started. So, okay. I'm seeing everybody saying you can hear me okay. All right. Good deal. We will keep track of that as the broadcast goes on. Quick bit of housekeeping for all my moderators. Do gently remind people that over here, the reason we don't type in all caps is I reserve that for in case I need to put something in the chat room that I feel is very important to bring to the audience attention. So I like for that to stand out. That's my reason for not having people type in all caps, no matter who it is. Bring that to people's attention. Gently give them a reminder. If they act like they don't have no home training, then this is our house over here. Politely show them the door with a wrench across the head. That's what you got them for, okay? Yeah, hey, you don't have to wait to pull the trigger on things that you know the rules about over here. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to open up tonight's broadcast with something that's going to be equally as disgusting because it's been said that he's of Caribbean background, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but before we get on Candace the Clown, I would like to open up with some statements that were made by the mayor of New York. Oh, yes, the shameful mayor of New York. See, this is a reminder of why when particularly the Democrats, okay, because we're gonna place the blame where it belongs and who does it the most. This is a reminder why particularly when the Democrats are talking about, see, we got Ketanji Brown Jackson. See, you got Eric Adams and whoever else, whichever bootlicking or book dancing sample that they put in front of us. I'm going to quote Zora Neale Hurston, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Just because you put a black ass in that seat that doesn't do anything for us or stand up for us, that doesn't mean we're supposed to be clapping like trained seals. See, all you Biden sexuals should have learned that damn lesson. Oh, and I got a hell of a broadcast coming up on that this week also, okay? Oh, boy, you're not going to want to miss that one. If you went into the live section and you saw that, then you know which one I'm talking about. But I want you to hear what he's saying because, see, this should be a reminder and a wake-up call to any of the remaining Biden sexuals that still think that, oh, there's some hope for the Democratic Party. We need to just vote with no tangibles or nothing specific as far as them fulfilling our agenda with our specific needs, which are reparations and protections from punishment for these race soldiers when they harm us and these deputized white supremacists. Family, I'm going to play this clip, and I want you to listen to this foolishness.
On the question of vigilantism, what do passengers do in situations like that? Is it appropriate to take matters into your own hands?
Each situation is different, and how a passenger, we have so many cases where passengers assist of the riders, and we don't know exactly what happened here until the investigation is thorough. And each situation is different. I was a former transit police officer, and I responded to many jobs where you had a passenger assisted someone. And so we cannot just blatantly say what a passenger should or should not do in a situation like that. We should allow the investigation to take its course.
Now, family, you heard that mush mouth bastard, right? You heard him. That explains a lot, though, about why he's having that stance and that approach, because see, by now, all of you have seen that horrible video, which I'm not going to play the unedited version here tonight. The only version that you may or may not see is in something I'm going to show you, but we'll get to that because I don't believe in just traumatizing our people over and over like that. But see, it's been speculated upon that this 24-year-old so-called cowardly white supremacist Marine, which you are a disgrace to the Marines, it's suspected that not only is he a Marine, but he could have ties to the police force. He could either be a cop or is related to someone that is a cop. My New York brothers and sisters got to be on it up there because, see, tonight you may gain some things over here that might help you identify this bastard. And you already know I'm working on it over here, too. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's a lot of us working on it. I won't say exactly what's being done on my end to find out, but just know that your brother is on it, okay? See, the thing that I must reinforce that our good brother Tariq Nasheed has recently mentioned, and others in New Black Media, when these white supremacists harm us, family, we got to be on the money about identifying them, making sure we know who they are. If you're at the scene, let fact of business, let's talk about that before we get into the rest of what we need to review here tonight. Let's talk about it. For those that saw that horrific video, right? Because we're going to talk solutions over here. A lot of people are like, what's the solution? Oh, we got solutions. Like our good brother Tariq Nasheed and many others have pointed out, we have to be very, very efficient at identifying all of these motherfuckers that harm us, okay? In and out of the community, okay? We're talking foreign and domestic threat. If you're in that situation as a black person, first things first, don't let anybody harm our people like that, especially when you can see that it's clearly something where it's an unjust thing. They're trying to gang up on them. Don't do that. Because see, down here in the South, I'm going to get into what we would have did down here a little bit later. But as far as solutions, let me show you something. When you're in that situation, they're trying to assault somebody, everybody must be on code. Everybody has their role. One, it's self-explanatory. If you see them trying to call somebody in large numbers, you go ahead and try to prevent that. Number two, this is what I would prefer the sisters to do. Don't you try to physically intervene. See, in warfare, everybody has their role. You put everybody where they're most effective. What I would prefer the sisters to do in a situation like this, psychological warfare. What do I mean by that? Use that mouth that we know a lot of our sisters can run, bless your hearts. Use it for a good purpose and be, hey, what's your name? You know, see if you can get them, antagonize them verbally to get them to say something. And if it's brothers there on code, they ain't gonna let nobody come over there and do nothing to you. See, I'm gonna show you how you handle this. And so that way, if the sisters are recording, you try to get a name or see if you can find something that identify them on camera. Everybody must learn to work as a well-oiled machine because that's what white supremacy is, okay? You see what I'm saying? I'm just giving you a few little things that we can do to prevent these things, okay? Because, see, they trying to let this white supremacist off the hook. We already know, had it been the other way around, if it was a black veteran that choked a white homeless person out, he would still be in custody. First of all, they would have shot him to death if they showed up, more than likely. But if not, he would still be in custody until a trial, okay? It wouldn't have been no question him and let him go. So this is why we suspect that this race soldier, this deputized race soldier, has official race soldier ties, all right? So now, here's the other thing that you can use. In that situation, let me tell you something. In fact, the business, instead of talking about it, let me be about it. Because, see, I want my people to be prepared because we're all we got out here for real. A lot of people have used that cliche saying, but it's the truth. We're all we got out here. We're all we got. What I'm about to put in the chat room, fact, the business, let me go ahead and pull that up. I'm going to put something that I think all foundational Black Americans should carry if the law allows you to within your state. I know it can be tricky with New York. You have to check your laws to see if you can carry this. I'm going to put this in the chat room, and I'm probably going to put it in there a couple more times. The link that I just dropped in there is a link to some devil piss in a can that I call bear spray, okay? Oh, yeah. You need to keep some of that on deck so that, okay, if it's a situation where you can't necessarily use your power tool, because we know how the gun laws are in New York, then hit their ass with some mace in the face. It's better to do that than sit there and watch a black person be unjustly murdered like that right in front of us. See, for those of us who are men, I go back to what happened to our good brother George Floyd, okay? You have to be able to sleep at night as a man. If you have some integrity and pride, because it depends on how you was raised. Some people don't have that. But if you do have it, for me, I'm not going to sit there and watch nobody unjustly harm another black person, because I have to live with myself, look myself in the mirror when I wake up in the morning, and I have to be able to sleep comfortably with a clear conscience. Even if I wasn't able to completely do so, I'm not going to just stand there. Even if I wasn't able to completely get that person out of harm's way, at the end of the day, as a man, I would know I tried to do something. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. Unless it's significant numbers, if I get on your ass, I'm going to make sure, oh, trust me, you going to stop. Or I'm going to leave it at that. You will stop. I guarantee you that. You will stop. Whether I have to use measures like I just put in the chat room, or if I have to actually, like we say down here down south, put these damn soup bones on your ass. Oh, you going to stop. I'm going to change your mind. Salute to Premier Homes for the cash up. Salute. Thank you for that, good brother. But like I said, let's get back to some preventative measures before we get to analyzing the rest of this. All right. So now, for those of you that saw that horrific video, you saw that was basically 3 white supremacists. And yes, I'm aware of that punk ass Tilda that was standing in the background. See, when foundational black American men are together, we have to make sure that we're our team, okay? We're our protection mechanism. We are our intelligence agency on the grassroots, okay? We can't depend on nobody else. See, just because we're taxpaying citizens, we know what the law should be. But see, after you see something for what it is, you have to accept it for what it is. These people, as their numbers start dwindling, they're going to get more and more desperate, and they're going to try to pull things like this. So when you see 3 of them, first thing first, if it was brothers on there that had some balls, they should square it up. Like, hey, okay, whatever he got going on, we got it now. Nah, get off that man like that. You're not going to sit there and choke this man. Because, see, we're going to deal with some ridiculous statements that were made by this queen clown coonstress right here and other things. So now, a bit further advice to all black men and black women, especially those of our brothers and sisters in the metro areas that have to be on these trains. I understand that this brother had mental issues, okay, as a lot of our people do. But I'm going to give you some game that'll protect you even if you don't have them, okay? When you're on these public transport systems, especially being that the situation is what it is for us today in America, facing anti-black racism and white supremacy, do your best not to let these cowardly mayonnaise motherfuckers get behind you. Watch your 6. Put your 6, which is your rear, to a wall, okay? Make sure you use the buddies, even if you don't know each other. See, we're better about this down in the South. I understand the dynamics up there in New York, but see, down here in the South, we look out for each other where we know each other not. The first thing we thinking, those of us in our right frame of mind, especially foundational black Americans, is, hey, you black, I'm black. We know what it is down here with these race soldiers and these crackers down here. If it go down, and we all on the same page, okay? I'm going to make a statement some of y'all might not believe down here. But I know firsthand, if I tell you a duck can pull a truck, you better grab a chain, hook that motherfucker up. Some of the immigrants down here, the black ones, some of them have adopted our ways. I ain't gonna tell you it ain't none of the Sambos and tether class down here. But for the most part, if they've been down here for a while, they tend to take after how we do things. So they've started to learn. So I can't throw all of them under the bus. Let me tell you something. I got some good continental African and Caribbean friends. We've had to handle certain situations. I'll leave it like that. So I ain't gonna throw them all under the bus. But we're gonna analyze some stuff here. Candace had to say, because family, when I tell you that there's no hope for this piece of shit, what we gonna do first off, and before we even get started, fair use, Candace. I know you're gonna be listening. She can't stand me. Oh, she hates my guts on Twitter. Ever since I handed her ass a couple of years back, I made her delete them damn tweets. So you probably still find some of that exchange online, depending on how much she deleted. Surprised she didn't block me if she hadn't already. She probably will after tonight, though. It is what it is. Fair use, Candace. What we gonna do with the first part of this, family, we gonna play some statements that she made recently regarding the situation here tonight with our brother Jordan Neely. And then after it clears a certain portion, because this piece of shit, and I'm calling you what you are, you disgusting demonic bitch, you. She actually posted the unedited footage online. Now, a lot of people may say, well, GBS, what's the issue with that? I'm going to tell you. You've often heard me talk about social engineering and conditioning on this channel. When you are repeatedly shown traumatizing images over and over and over again. It's one thing to see it once for research purposes if you're trying to identify certain things, but to just repeatedly show that over and over again, I want you to understand why they do this to us on the mainstream media. And we're gonna call out some names too. We're gonna call out Facebook for this because see, you can't even post about Black family love on Facebook without them taking the damn thing down, but you can show a Black person being harmed and killed over and over again. We've seen that many times. See what that does is that's designed as a part of white supremacist code to condition you with fear. Whether you believe it's real or not, think back to the broadcast that I did on reversing social engineering on this channel. You can go and find that where I broke down Memorandum 46 and the Willie Lynch letter. Part of what that is, and I'm going to be blunt with it, they want to strike fear in all Black people, but especially Black mothers with their children. In other words, see, this is how demonic they are. Well, the white supremacists is thinking, see, bitch, this could be your son next, you little niggerish you and them little nigglets you had. That's how they think. See, I know how they talk because I'm down here in the South. Now, do they say the shit around me? No, but I know how they think. So, see, this is why I try to bring in education to you from a Southern man's perspective that grew up down here around these motherfuckers. Because, see, I don't trust them as far as I could throw this planet. Not one of them. Now, they might not all be that way, but you're going to have to prove it to me over a course of time. And that's only determined by me. And even then, I'm not going to trust you but so far. Okay? So that fear conditioning, constantly showing you images of where we're being harmed and hurt. This is why those of us over here try not to show a lot of those types of graphic images unless it's for a good reason, okay? Because see, in contrast, in case somebody thinks I'm wrong about that, think about this. See, over here, when you're in this system of white supremacy, what you often have to do is step back and take notes on how things operate. Because see, this is not normal. It's not normal for us to be oppressed because of the color of our skin. That's the first thing. Yes, we know what it is, but is it normal? No. Now, because it's that way, a lot of people, it's broken their spirits, particularly some of our women and children, some of our brothers as well. All right. So think in contrast to this. How many times do you see them repeatedly showing on mainstream media any video where a white person has been egregiously harmed? Okay. Think about it. You don't really see that on video like that. Think about it. It's true. The race soldiers do shoot more white people every year because of the numbers. Okay. They don't really target them like they target us. And it takes a damn near act of God to get them to shoot a white person. I mean, he has to have a bomb strapped to him, a baby in his hand, okay, running into a church, cursing Jesus out before they even want to pull the trigger on him. Then they try to negotiate, okay? But see, what my point that I'm making is this. You don't see them repeatedly showing harm, especially to white children. You know why? Because they know how psychologically damaging that is to my people, which is why this piece of shit right here, and I'm calling her what she is, she gonna sit up there and put this on her broadcast. But see, we're not gonna play that part of it, but I'm gonna play the audio for you. So family, we're gonna get into it right now. I want you to listen to what she says, because see, I'm gonna show you the rest of it after we get past that part, because I want you all to see who it was that was responsible for recording the video. Because see, when you're trying to identify something on a battlefield, we're gonna call this what it is, these race soldiers and the deputized race soldiers have declared war on our people. You have to analyze all assets available to you. You have to look at everything and the surroundings, the faces, the names, whatever you have to use that to your advantage. And we have to circulate that information on the grassroots in order to protect all of us anywhere. Because see, just because this was in New York, that doesn't mean I'm looking at it like, oh, that's them New York niggas. No, those are my brothers and sisters up there. I don't care whether it happened in New York. I don't care whether it happened in California, Mississippi, Wyoming, wherever it is. I don't care. Wherever we are, if it affects our people, we have to care about that because it could be coming to me next. And see, when we adopt that mindset towards eradicating systematic white supremacy, we'll get a lot more done. So family, I want you to listen to what this piece of shit had to say here. Let's let this play.
All right, guys, I am coming to you from London today. I am here because I'm attending the coronation, or I'm just going to report on the coronation. Of course, I'm still following everything that's going on in America. And I'll just tell you right at the top here, right out of the gate, we need to bring back insane asylums. I feel very strongly that we need to bring back insane asylums. And if you woke up this morning and you felt like you needed a hug or you needed to be coddled, this episode is just not going to be for you. If you are the kind of person who thinks that I'm not compassionate enough toward people with mental illness, this episode is definitely not going to be for you, because I'm not feeling very compassionate about Jordan Neely, and that shouldn't surprise you. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about why it is that we suddenly exist in a society where mentally well people are being told that they need to yield to mentally ill people. All of that needs to end. Later on in the show, we're going to discuss, of course, Russia and Ukraine. That seems to be heating up, and you should be paying attention to it because somebody attempted to assassinate Vladimir Putin. And by somebody, I don't mean Zelensky or NATO, because they have no idea who it was that could have possibly sent a drone over to the Kremlin. Yeah, things are getting very serious. And as I said, we need to be paying attention to it. All that and more today coming up on Candace Owens. So I don't know, you tell me, is this the new George Floyd? Is Jordan Neely the new George Floyd? It seems that way. People are feeling a lot toward what happened to him. How could this possibly happen? A crazy person, Jordan Neely, 30 years old, steps onto the subway and he says that he doesn't care if he gets arrested. He doesn't care if he goes to prison. He doesn't care if he dies. And of course, he has a history of, 42 arrests over the last 10 years. That doesn't matter because we should still be feeling compassionate. Fortunately for the other.
Now, let me stop this piece of shit right there, because see, again, you have to make sure that you point these things out, especially for those of us that have platforms, about how we're conditioned, how white supremacy is conditioned to always target us. She knows that white people do not bring up the criminal record of any white person that has been afflicted bodily harm and that has died. You notice you never hear that. They go, you have to find that. If they do report on it in any type of article, they put that damn near at the bottom of the article and they make sure they mention it vaguely in passing. You have to really dig to find out about their criminal history oftentimes. But see, when it's a black person, if you had any type of priors or anything, they always try to bring that up to justify, well, that was one of them other Negro criminals. Yeah, see, you deserved it. See, I want you to realize why I have such venom and hatred for this piece of shit right here, because it's okay to hate what is evil. I'm calling her what she is. This piece of shit is evil. It is not just a money grab for her, as a lot of people have often speculated. No, this piece of shit is evil. And see, her wake-up call is coming. But I just want to make the time to break that down. I want y'all to hear the rest of what she has to say.
People that were on the subway, a hero stepped up, a veteran stepped up and subdued this man, put him into a chokehold because, what do you think happens on a subway when a crazy person enters and says that they don't care what happens to them? It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. I've been in those circumstances when you confront somebody, when you are confronted from somebody who is a crazy person on the subways. As you know, I lived in New York City for 7 years, and you don't know what they're going to do next. Now, before we get into more of a Jordan Neely story, let me tell you that the idea that homeless people are just suffering and all they want is some food is complete and utter bullshit. Okay? In these circumstances, 9 out of 10 times you are dealing with individuals that are drug-addled maniacs, okay? They didn't end up in the streets because they just couldn't pay their rent. Typically, they ended up in the streets because, as I said, they have a steep history of mental illness. They've been on drugs. They were willing, you've seen Intervention on A&E, right? They were willing to abandon their family and their friends for the next hit. That is the average homeless person in New York City. They are not somebody to be feeling bad for. They are somebody to be fearful of. That is the truth. That is the truth that the Democrats on the left do not want you to acknowledge because it's coddle culture. They want you to feel bad every time you see a maniac that is threatening to harm you.
Now, let me pause the piece of shit once again, because we're going to be referring to her tonight all throughout this broadcast is what she exactly is. This, and first of all, let me point out something else too that somebody said in the chat. The brother that mentioned this, or the sister, I can't remember who, but when you hear them, particularly these Tetherwenches, using that Forest Valley girl inflection, you already know the bullshit is coming. See, that's that brothers, young brothers especially, of my tribe, Foundation of Black Americans, and our own code, brothers and sisters, because they already know what it is. But when you hear them using that Forest Valley girl inflection, chances are she's zaddy crazy, because see, they do that because they think that makes them more appealing to white men. Oh yeah, that's true. See, I don't care about if people get mad about me speaking the truth over here, you can go kiss Candace Owens' rotten evil ass, okay? You can go do that, all right? And get cancer to throat and die. That's what you can do. But see, I'm pointing that out for a reason because, see, it's important to recognize certain cues of when you're around these people because let's be clear. These types of people like her with that mindset, just because they're wearing our skin, they are dangerous to be around. You may as well be standing around another white supremacist. And see this notion that, oh, all the homeless people are just out to attack you. See, let me tell you where that comes from. That comes from, if you think back to the early 60s and the 50s, as I was telling you on a previous broadcast on this channel, how when white people wanted to shame or denigrate somebody, even in their own community, they would call you a communist or, oh, you're working with the Russians, this, that, the third. White people, the dominant society, especially the white supremacists, are very fearful. They're afraid of everything. One, they're afraid of everything because of their history. When you see, think about it like this. Let me break it down. Think about a bully on a playground that goes around beating up everybody. Oh, but you the biggest thing in the class on the playground, whooping everybody's ass. Okay. Then all of a sudden, they can't see it, your victims that you beat up, they might can't see it, but you're not feeling so good. Something going on with you, okay? You don't have the strength that you used to have, so you know that if anybody finds that out and everybody works together to whoop your ass, you're going to have some problems. That's the collective generalized mindset of the dominant society. They run around in fear because they've done so much dirt to people that they're afraid that people are going to do to them what they've inflicted on other people. Now, what does this have to do with tellers like Candace Owens? They adopt that mindset and toe the line because particularly the single ones especially do it because they think they're going to attract Zaddy, okay? Same thing with the tether bucks too. The tether bucks, they do it too because they think that makes them appealing to white supremacist women. So they use that as a way to reel them in and say, look, Zaddy, I'm on the team. Or look, Becky, I'm on the team. Either one. And then on top of that, they spew that because they know that hurts black people. See, let's go further. People like Candace Owens, they think because they've secured a white husband or a white wife, they think that makes them safe. They think that that's some type of shield from the rest of the dominant society. And we all know, as Neely Fuller Jr. has taught us, white supremacy breaks its tools when it's done with them, and they're going to break her too. It's coming because, see, we're going to get into something else a little bit later in this broadcast that's going to reinforce what I just stated in case anybody thinks I'm wrong about that. And see, I'm going to tell you something else that could have been done, right? Because fact of business, now that we're past the part where it's safe to show the footage here, we're going to put this piece of shit on the screen because there's another part that they're going to show with our brother, but it's been blurred out somewhat. So I don't mind showing that, but I'm not going to just show the life slipping out of that brother's eyes like that because I want to point several things out. So we're going to put this piece of shit on the screen. But see, we're going to point something else out that could have solved the situation, particularly amongst black folks. Down here in the South, the reason why you hear about the phrase Southern hospitality, because that's a very real thing down here. See, let me tell you what would have happened down here. And I get it. Yes. See, this is the part about Candace Owens that you have to also point out. She mixes truth in with bullshit. Can some homeless people be dangerous? Yes, they can. They can. But now, if you're in a situation where it's in public and it's more people than them, and it's just one, see, that like a horde of crazy homeless people came on the train. Oh, they out to get us. You got to be the biggest punk on earth if you outnumber somebody and you talking about their threat. First of all, he didn't threaten nobody. The brother making the statements that he made about him being hungry. See, let me tell you how we would have handled it down here in the South. Somebody, chances are, would have been a sister, be like, hey, brother, calm down. Hey, what's going on? Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen plenty of sisters do that down here. See, this is why I don't get on that bullshit with that gender war. Oh, all the black women, this or that. No, I've seen too much compassion from my sisters, so I got to give them their due where it is due. Let me tell you something. Chances are a sister or brother would have said, hey, man, calm down, bro. What's going on, family? Somebody would have tried to talk to him because you can recognize when something is wrong with somebody. You never know the difference that you could make in that situation by saying, hey, man, you said you're hungry, bro. Check this out, man. At the next stop, stick with me. I'll get you something to eat, bro. Roll with me. I got you. See, instead of you trying to choke the man to death, how about the fuck you offer him some compassion? You see what I'm saying? See, look, let me tell y'all something, man. Let me tell you something about the way I was ready before we get back into this. My situation is a lot different, okay? I don't brag about things I have because I've said it many times. As a black person in America, they can stroke a pen and take anything from any one of us. But I'm appreciative for the things that I have. I live a very good life, okay? But one thing I don't do is look down on other people. That's one thing I try to go out my way to do if I'm around a homeless black person. I try to see what I can do to help them because I don't know what their situation is. Okay, because you heard her going on about, oh, all these people, they deserve it and this, that. You don't know what the fuck the people's situation is. It's hard times for a lot of our brothers and sisters across the nation now. This is why we're pushing for reparations, okay? One of the things I try to do is show that compassion to somebody because you don't never know what that could do to motivate them to turn that situation around. You don't know. You see what I'm saying? See, but you have to care about your people in order to exhibit that type of behavior towards people. See, I'll never be the type of person. I don't care how much I have. And like I said, I live a very good life. I don't think that a car that I drive make me better than nobody. I don't think that the houses I have make me better than nobody. I don't think the land I own make me better than nobody. I don't think nothing I wear make me better than nobody. I don't think that the money that I have in my bank accounts make me better than nobody. I know that our people here in this country, particularly foundational Black Americans, I understand that we got, like I said first, and number two, that when it's time for us to help one another, think back into the past. During Jim Crow and slavery, we had to rely on one another. We had to have compassion for one another. One of the things that's dangerous about being so close proximity to the white supremacists, a lot of us have adopted their ways. And see, no disrespect to my brothers and sisters up in New York, and I understand how that city is. I've been there many times. I have relatives up there. I understand why certain people are the way they are up there, because there is crime up there, but there's crime everywhere. Sometimes if you just change the culture, though, towards your people, you can change a lot. I'm not telling you to do anything foolish. What I'm saying is, goddamn, man, you see a brother and sister come on there, man, you see the condition he in, that's one of us, man. If the man, it don't cost nothing to feed somebody, man. That could have solved that whole situation. So I got to speak on that from somebody down here in Georgia's perspective. Like, again, I said, I understand the situation in New York, but how could that have been different if some compassion was shown towards his brother, man? You see what I'm saying? See, I'm going to go further, and I'm not trying to shame nobody. I just want you to understand how we look at it. See, down here in the South, not just in Atlanta, but other places that you probably hadn't heard of in Georgia, okay? I'm going to name a few. Some of y'all might not know none of these places, but I'm going to name some outside of Georgia. Warner Robins, Dublin, Georgia, Macon, Georgia, Eastman, Georgia, Cochran, Georgia, okay? Get on down to Baxley, Georgia, Albany, Georgia, okay? Rochelle, all these different places. I'm naming some small places. You be like, what the hell is that? You have to look on the map to be able to find it. I named those places for a reason because they're smaller areas that you don't often hear about unless something happens where it make the news. Brothers and sisters down in those places look out for one another. I know because I have family members down there, okay? Let me tell you something, man. Had that been a situation that happened down there and it's a group of brothers around, one brother would have offered to feed him, if not all of them. Another brother would say, hey, man, come on with us, man. We'll get you a couple of clothes or something, man. You got some place to stay? Hey, we'll put you up in a hotel for the night. See, a lot of y'all don't understand how we are down here. A lot of people that have a lot of shit to say about people down in the South, they don't really know the heart of our people down here. I'm going to say it. Most of us in the South that are black, we're the heartbeat of our people, man, because we're going to look at you with some compassion first. It's one thing if we're in a situation where we can run the dozens on each other and laugh about something in the past. But if we see you down bad like that, we try to pick you up. And I'm going to further prove my point. Why you think so many people come down here to Georgia and never leave? You know what I'm saying? In other places, not just Georgia. So I'm just letting you know the kind of compassion he probably would have been shown down here, because regardless of anything else that I just said, that I know for a fact would have happened, because I'm one of the people that would have offered to do that. We damn sure wouldn't have let them sit around and let no bunch of white supremacists, and I'm calling them all of them white supremacists, even the Hispanics, because they identify as white. Ain't no such thing as brown people. We wouldn't have sat there and let you do that, brother, like that. Man, y'all don't get me started. I want you to hear what the rest of this piece of shit got to say, though. Let's let it continue.
So a man who was a off-duty journalist, his name is Juan Vasquez, recounts exactly what took place as he was on this subway on his way to Yonkers at about 2:30 p.m. on a Monday. And here is what he had to say in his own words. Take a listen.
The man began shouting, quote, "I want food. I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm ready to go back to jail, and I'll hurt anyone on this train."
The man got on the subway car and began to say a somewhat aggressive speech, saying that he was hungry, he was thirsty, and he didn't care about anything. He didn't care about going to jail, that he didn't care that he gets a big life sentence, and it doesn't matter if he died.
Vasquez says he was scared and believes others on the train were too. That's when he says a 24-year-old rider came up behind the man and put him in a chokehold, holding him there on the ground. Two other men standing over them also helped subdue the man.
If there was fear, the people who were bluish or who were there, where he separated everything, moved from their place. I stayed sitting.
Now, I'm pointing this out for a reason, because this is why I wanted to put this back on the screen. This is the guy that took the initial video. And again, fair use, Candace, you piece of shit, you, because I know you're probably going to come over here. Come on over here. Come on over here. I want you to hear what's being said about you. I should have tagged her punk ass in the damn. I might do that after the broadcast. I want her to know I'm talking about her. But see, I'm showing you this for a reason, because this guy right here, they gave his name. This is what he looks like. This is the guy that recorded the video. So why am I showing you this, right? To my own code, New York brothers and sisters, any of you were around, okay, the F train is where it happened at up there, you got to be thinking, did I see this guy? See, a lot when you tracking things down, everything goes into account, okay? That's why I'm showing you this, all right? So I want y'all to listen to all this fear that he's displaying, okay? Because see, this is why we keep pointing out the fact that it's very important to understand that most of these people over here in the white Hispanic community, they really do think they're white people. Therefore, they adopt the mindset and psychology of white people towards black folks. Anytime you see a black person, they just out to get you. How the fuck? Look, for anybody that's ever been on a New York subway, because I have many times, okay? Let's be clear. You're going to see some wild shit on New York subways. I'm going to tell you, man, you're going to see some of the wildest things that have no explanation, man. You could turn your camera on and make something go viral, man, with all the crazy stuff that you see in New York on the subways, okay? So what the point that I'm making is a lot of that happens every day on those subways. That ain't the first man to jump on a subway and have a commotion. For my New York brothers and sisters that's listening to this, just, am I lying? Y'all know what it is to travel on the New York subway. Any given day, you can see somebody arguing, fighting, flipping out or whatever. From what they say he did, he came on there speaking about how hungry he was, threw his jacket down, didn't attack nobody. I want to see where the part on video where you say he threatened to do something to somebody. See, I'm going to let him continue talking, though. We're going to continue breaking this down. I just want y'all to see how full of shit these types of people are. Let's let it continue.
My place, because it was a little further away. But obviously, those moments, well, one thinks fear, one thinks he may be armed.
He says that chokehold lasted about 15 minutes, even with the train stopped at one point at the Broadway Lafayette station and the doors open.
Well, most of the people left. If they open the door, the train separates and it leaves. Almost all the people just stayed. The ones who were there on the floor fighting, a couple who was standing in front of them stayed.
Vasquez says no one thought the man would die, even after he went limp. EMS arrived and performed CPR, but he could not be revived.
I think no one thought that he was in a risky situation because he was defending himself all the time. All the time he moved. He tried to remove his arm, and then when they had it on his side, he kept kicking. So
See, this is the part that infuriates me about this piece of shit right here. First of fucking all, you ain't have no business putting your hands on that man. Of course he's trying to defend himself. Like my good sister Jesse Eve said in the chat room, being hungry and homeless is not a death sentence, okay? And if that's the case, all them homeless white people in New York, why they don't do them like that? See, the white supremacists, and I've seen their disgusting memes and comments online. Oh, they love shit like this. Oh, they love shit like this. Just know, though, we working on identifying that dude. Don't worry about it. We ain't gonna wait on white daddy to do it. I'll say that much. See, they like celebrating stuff like this because they love it when we're harmed. That goes to show you that those people are demonic and irredeemable because, see, they know they wouldn't be saying the same thing if it was a black veteran that did that to a white homeless person, okay? They wouldn't be bringing up nothing about nobody's prior arrest history or none of that. That wouldn't happen at all, okay? So now, see, this piece of shit right here, he's speaking as if they had a right to touch that man. See, a lot of them still have that mindset where they think we're their property and they're supposed to be able to do anything to us to get away and harm us like that. But see, he had to sneak up behind the brother for one. That's why I'm calling this punk ass a coward, whatever his name is. Oh, we gonna find it though. We gonna get you. Don't worry. And see, the other two, the white Hispanics, we're gonna call them what they are, that sit there and help hold him down. Again, I'm not gonna show the unedited portion of that video. You can find it online for yourself. But one of the things I'm going to point out if you look at it, because I'm meticulous when I study any type of footage or photos, okay? That's part of what I do. You can see them smiling and smirking while this man is going limp. How the fuck you think that somebody is not going to die when you cutting off the air supply? See, family, this is why I often teach in self-defense, as many people do. The most important thing that you have to cover is your head, because there's too many kill areas on top of your head. And cutting off your air supply, it don't take but a few seconds for you to pass out and die. My question is this. Let's just say he was a threat. You outnumber him. You're all men. After you subdued him, there's other ways to restrain somebody. You could have said, hey, man, we're going to hold him down till we get to the next stop where there's a police officer that can deal with the situation. Why you didn't attempt to do that? See, when you look at that disgusting video of that coward choking that brother, he was getting enjoyment out of that. Oh, they get off on that shit. Oh, yeah, you can even see the look on his face. How you look, even if you did apply a sleeper, which there was no reason for him to do that. Even if you did apply a sleeper, once you see the man's no longer moving, or let's see, I'm just going through, I'm going to debunk all the shit because I know it's infuriating, but see, I'm going to leave no stone unturned, making sure that they don't have no defense. Because, see, I'm a person that knows how to deal with threats physically, well trained to do so, okay? I'm just walking through this for a reason, so bear with me. Even if you did apply a sleeper to the man, you got him to the point where he's subdued, you could have told the other two guys, hey, man, grab his hands, man. We just going to hold him down and make sure he don't go nowhere. You don't have the right to kill anybody that's not an immediate threat to you or other people. He could have had a knife. He could have had this. Okay. If he really, let's see, let me show you how scary they are. Because see, this is why I don't want any of our people to fit these punk ass white supremacists. Anybody that's had a weapon or a knife, if they were going to do you something, they would have immediately went ahead and used it. That would have been the next thing he would have did. He would have came on there with the knife out or immediately pulled out the gun if he was trying to do something. See, you have to go ahead and debunk all this bullshit to show them how big of a punk they are. This is why the only reason they get brave is if they're in large numbers or if they're armed, okay? So I'm just taking away all the defenses they have with that. I'm going to let this punk ass piece of shit continue to talk, though, because we got a lot more we got to analyze with this situation.
Thought that he's defending himself.
So he said, quote, I'll hurt anyone on this train, according to Juan Vasquez, who was there. I will hurt anyone on this train. And Juan Vasquez says that he, a grown adult man, felt fear because a rational mind would feel fear if a person who looked like a vagrant jumped on the plane and jumped onto a train and said that they were willing to go to prison, that they did not care, that they were willing to die, and that they would, quote, hurt anyone on this train. But pardon you if you think that that's rational thinking, because obviously we have politicians that are sweeping in to tell you otherwise, despite the fact that Jordan Neely, as I mentioned, I think I said 42 arrests. No, he had 44 prior arrests, many of them subway related, including for disorderly conduct, assault, and fare evasion. But despite that, despite all that, despite the fact that he had a history of threatening death, he had a history of harassing women, he had a history of screaming obscenities, despite the fact that his father says that he was a high school dropout who rarely took his medicine. Medicine for what? I don't know.
You don't know a lot, Candace. So I'm going to stop this bag of dog shit right here because, see, let me tell you what I do know. And salute to my good brother Raheem Shabazz because he was one of the first people that I saw mention this. A bit of backstory, and some of you may already know where I'm going with this, a bit of backstory on the brother Jordan Neely. He lost his mother in a very tragic situation, and that can be devastating to somebody when you lose a parent or a child, okay? You cannot fathom or understand how that could affect somebody. And if you don't have close family around to back you up, that could be a very difficult thing to get through, okay? So, that brother, after his mother passed, that affected him greatly, okay? and his mental health started to decline. The brother started trying to do impersonations of Michael Jackson to support himself, but I guess he fell on hard times. He wasn't able to maintain a roof over his head. Now, see, let me tell you something, right? I don't know much about his father, and I don't have children, but I'm going to say this. If that was my son, I don't give a damn what I had to do. I wouldn't have my boy homeless. I wouldn't have him homeless. Even if it was something he had going on to the point where I couldn't keep him under my roof, I'm going to make sure he ain't out on the street. I'm going to have him somewhere. I'm not, so look, some people don't understand what it means when you become a parent. That's the most important job on this planet you'll ever have. Your kids, you're supposed to be willing to die for your children, man. You understand me? You don't have your kids out on the street in New York, man. Come on, bro. No, I would have did whatever it took to make sure my boy went out there like that down bad. And I know he just lost his mother too. Whether me and her made it or couldn't stand her, whatever, I don't give a fuck. That's my seed, man. See, some people don't have that type of honor and pride in being a father or a mother or a parent, whichever way you want to call it. That's something, man, that's a vanguard title, okay? You are the physical representation and manifestation of the Most High to your children, okay? The Most High is supposed to work through you with your child, all right? You supposed, no matter how old they get or how old you get, you're supposed to be there for your kids, man. So like I said, I don't know too much about the father situation. I just saw that portion mentioned. She ain't gonna talk about that though, because see, this little old motherfucker right here, she thinks she's a little dark-skinned white woman. She really do. She fervently believes this, because see, a lot of people used to think that, oh, she don't really mean much. She said, oh, no. These types of tethers, especially where she from, oh, they believe that. The ones of them that are like that from where she's from, oh yeah, they wholeheartedly believe everything they saying. Look at how she's sitting here with this smile on her face. See, you have to understand what evil look like, not just when it's in pale skin. You need to recognize what evil look like when it's in dark skin too, like this. Family, I'm going to say something to you right now before we get back to this, because I want all of you to understand how serious this situation is over here. Imagine a piece of shit like this in the role of a school teacher around little black children. Imagine a piece of shit like this in a nurse position. Because see, we don't have to imagine. That's very true. We have this going on right now. Imagine a piece of shit like this on a judge's bench. In a jury, okay? Lawmakers that we have that think just like this. We caught some of them on tape, both foundational Black American and non-FBA, that hate black people. I'm saying that to you for a reason why those of us in new black media spaces always stress the fact that we must be on code. We must be on code. That's the only protection we have against that. See, another thing we have down here in the South that's a small thing, but it helps as far as acknowledging our people. We acknowledge each other just in passing by in the grocery store. Hey, what's happening, brother? What's happening, sister? You know what I'm saying? We acknowledge each other. We don't have to know each other. It's just acknowledgement, especially when we're around them damn folks. Okay? That too is a part of staying on code and letting other black people know, hey, I see you, my people. I got you if something go down. But see, something like this, and I'm calling her something because this is not a human being. It's not a woman. This is a bitch. That's a far removed thing from the earned honorable title of woman. No, she does not deserve to be called a woman. This is a bitch. And I say that wholeheartedly with my full chest. Understand that the reason why she's like this, though, and I got to go here with it for the tether class of men, when your men are so broken and cowardly to the point that they flee where they're from, the women and the children will not develop a sense of courage or pride in where they're from. Now, why am I saying that? I'm going to say why again, because I've made this clear before and I got to make it clear here tonight. When you do that as men, your women, out of survival necessity, okay, my men have given up. They're cowards. I want to survive, so let me join them. If you can't beat them, join them. This is what you're looking at when you see this piece of shit. See, she ain't going to talk about, she would never have a conversation with me. I would read her ass up one side and down the other, and I wouldn't even encourage to do it. I would just tell her what she is and why she's that way. I wouldn't have to use no expletive whatsoever. Oh, but she would think I was using them by the time I finished reading her ass. That's exactly what you're looking at. See, this is why we place such a high premium on traditional black manhood and raising little black boys to be men without all this bullshit where they promoting, where they want our people in dresses and the like. No, when you do that, you threaten the future of your people and you produce shit like this. Just as a woman is the future and the benefit and the first educator of a society, when a woman becomes a coward, back to business. Nah, I'm not gonna edit it. When a woman becomes a bitch like this that sides with white supremacy, just as she would be the future and the first educator of her people, she also becomes the greatest detriment to her people because she has sided with the enemy who is trying to eradicate the next generation. That's what I see when I look at this maggot right here. But you know what? I'm gonna let her continue because we ain't done with her by sight tonight.
Despite the fact that people online are saying that he's the same man that, according to this guy, jumped on me, grabbed my shoulders, and pushed me toward the tracks Sunday night at this very station. I was able to run away, but he, Jordan Neely, got physical and chased other people standing on the platform before getting on an uptown train. Despite all of that, all of the evidence that clearly this man was becoming more and more enraged, more and more emboldened in his crimes, don't worry, guys. Despite all of that, the left is here to tell you why you should feel bad for him. Feel bad for him, definitely, because he lost his life, because a hero stood up and tried to save everybody that was on the subway. Let's cut to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Here's what she said on Twitter. She says, Jordan Neely was murdered, but because Jordan was houseless and crying for food in a time when the city is raising rents and stripping services to militarize itself, while many in power demonize the poor, the murderer gets protected with passive headlines and no charges.
Now, let me stop right here, okay? Let me make sure I'm clear and pointing something out. Because something that you see Candace Owens do a lot, she tries to make everything the left, the right, the left, the left, the left, the left. When you tell us bring your stupid asses over here and you get caught up in politics, America is not about politics first, it's about race first. And see, that's the other thing that we're going to clear up here with little old horse tooth Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because like I said, I'm neither Republican or Democrat, liberal nor conservative. We're not going to just let them make this about being homeless. This was done to this man because he was black. Because see, let's use our common sense here. That's one of the things that separates us from the tether class. How many times have you seen something like that happen to a white homeless person? And see, to further shame that damn tether class, because you need to be shamed, especially if you call yourself a male. I'm not going to call you a man because men don't sit around and watch members of their tribe be harmed that way. You used to seeing that back home where you come from, standing around, you outnumber people 15-1 and they beating on you with a stick and y'all stand there like a bunch of broken cowards. Men don't do that. Men protect the members of their tribe, the men, women, and the children. We, especially those who are handicapped, disabled, or infirm. We're not going to sit there and just watch you harm a member of our tribe. Those of us that are real men, okay? You tell this should be ashamed because, see, if any of you were sitting there on that train watching that, like that little punk that was in the background of one of the photos that I've seen, and you just standing there, oh, there ain't got nothing to do with me. He ain't where I'm from. Okay, but he black, though. And your punk ass could be next. Right there in New York, go back and look at what they did to Amadou Diallo, 41 shots. Abner Louima, look at what they did to him. I can name on and on. We see what happened to Botham Jean down there in Texas. See, they hadn't figured it out yet. You being a coward as a man is useless and worthless to your people. The cowardice doesn't protect any damn body. See, let me tell you something, man. When a people or an enemy threat has declared war upon you, if you want to survive, the best thing for you to do is analyze the threat and figure out how to neutralize the threat. Not act like you don't see it and hope that they don't find you. How the fuck you wake up as a man and be proud of yourself doing that? You can't be around those of us that see it the way I just described it. Because see, if you are, your punk ass is a threat to the rest of the group because you're so afraid of that threat. That's and particularly white supremacy. You so afraid of these folks because you see them as guys. One, we got to go there with it. The white Jesus worship, that lie. You see them as guys. You don't think that they can be stopped. So what you'll do if you are allowed to be around us, you'll easily sell us out. And I'm applying this to whether you're a foundational Black American coon coward or a non-FBA coon coward. You're a danger to the rest of us. No, we can't. When we identify that, we got to ostracize you for the protection of our entire tribe. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So now, looking at what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just said, AOC, okay? He's trying to highlight the fact about the homelessness and about the brother wanting food. I hadn't heard her call it anti-Black racism and white supremacy because that's exactly what that was. So I'm making a statement so that nobody's under any illusions about just because she spoke up about it, that means that she's for us. No. If you're going to be for us, call the problem what it is. Why aren't you demanding? Because she's in a position of power. She should be demanding, not just telling us what happened. We saw what happened. You should be demanding that he be locked up and charged with murder because that's what he committed. Family, these people right here, man, we can't afford to be off code. I want y'all to hear the rest of what Candace the Coon has to say, though, because like I said, we're going to make sure that we read her rights here tonight.
It's disgusting. I am convinced that AOC is the kind of individual who roots for Joker when she's watching Batman. I am convinced. She watches it and she says, he's a mentally ill man and we should feel bad for Joker. I really do believe this is how she thinks. This is how they are trying to condition everybody to think, right? That you need to be angry at people who think rationally and to tell people that they are wrong to feel fear when everything around them is telling them that this situation could end in death because it could. When Juan Vasquez says, we didn't know if he had a weapon, he is correct. For all they know, he could have had a pocket knife. He could have been willing to stab someone or harm someone for food, okay? Everything in his history indicates that you are dealing with somebody who is a repeat violent offender, but they don't care. 42 arrests, and she still says he was murdered. 42 arrests, and there are still people protesting an unjust end to his life. Why? Well, you know why. Obviously, he was killed by a white man. And that's what it all comes down to. It doesn't matter what a Black person does. If you are a white person and you do anything to subdue them, then you are a horrific, backwards individual. And it was probably motivated by race. I think that's probably what their takeaway is going to be. The veteran was obviously motivated by his hatred for Black people when he jumped on an individual and attempted to subdue him from harming others on the subway.
You see how disgusting this piece of maggot slime is right here. I want you to look at her face. And you heard the words that she just said. Going out her way, damn near till her throat bleed, to show white men, because white women can't stand her ass. Let's be clear on that. She's going out her way to show white men, I'm on the team's at it no matter what. This type of filth coming from you tether class over here, you better get your filth and put it back in the trash can where it belongs. Because we're not going to allow those like her to be a threat to our people with this type of bullshit right here. Because see, a lot of people, let's go here with it. I don't want her silenced. Let me be clear on that. Oh no, I want her to keep talking. I want her to keep talking. We need to know what the threats are. But what I'm saying is recognize how dangerous this is to have amongst you in the different positions that I named earlier, the different professions, okay? You got to be aware of what's out here. And see, she's going that hard in the paint to show white men she's on the team because they keep her as a little pet mascot. White women can't stand Candace Owens because her stupid ass don't understand. I'm going to prove it here a little bit later. She don't understand that they look at her as competition. You married a white man. White women, they ain't happy about that. You notice that? Has anybody ever thought about that? White women do not support her ignorant ass. But see, boy, when y'all see what I got here later on, man, we going to really break that down. But the statements that she made just here, right here, right, what she's talking about, going out her way to talk about his criminal record and all of this. Oh, because it's a white man trying to act like you don't understand what anti-black racism is. What she understood once upon a time when she was in college and she was discriminated against. She won that $37,000 and black people came to her aid to help her get that. See, I'm going to be blunt with this. A lot of people not going to like me saying what I'm about to say, but I'm going to call it what it is. Racism was real to Candace Owens because, see, I already know what type of person this was when she was in college. She was the little tether class heifer, little homely, because she is not an attractive woman. I don't give a damn. Nobody said it ain't got nothing to do with the tone of her skin. She's just not attractive. This is an ugly little heifer, inside and out. Yeah, I'm going here with it. She was a little unattractive heifer that had the crush on the white boys, and they weren't paying her no attention. So then when the white boy, you know, that y'all know the story, he called out her name and all this other stuff, and she cried racism. They helped her get that bag. After that, I know what happened. What happened was one of them zaddies probably saw her and like, you know what? Yeah, I need me a little Negro's fun right quick. I'm going to go here with it. Once she had some pale pole, that's when she switched over. Yeah, that's when, oh, I'm accepted now. See, and I ain't going to leave the tether bucks off the line neither. Let me tell you something, man. These people here are suicidal for interracial sexual access. When they get that, they think they've made it. Their entire psychology changes and they start sounding like a little dark-skinned white person. Now, I don't care who you live with. That's your problem until your madness starts to affect my people. When you speaking like this towards my people and you justifying the murders of my people, that's when I got an issue with your ass. I don't care which one of them Neanderthals you go and lay up with. But when you start presenting yourself as a threat to my people, now you my business. Oh, yeah. Let this piece of shit continue right here because we ain't done with her.
Here is my honest takeaway. I am so serious when I say that America has gotten soft on mental illness. I talk about this every day on this show. I show you what people are doing on TikTok for views. I show you what individuals are pretending to be, what they are saying. I mean, it's anything for attention. And rather than us saying that we need to address this seriously, you have politicians and the media that are telling you that you need to feel more and more compassion for these people. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel less and less compassion for these individuals. I feel no compassion whatsoever for Jordan Neely.
I'm glad you said that, Candace, because see, I'm going to put a question out there, family. Not only for Candace Owens, but for also any of you other Tetherwenches and Tetherbucks out there that think the same way, saying that you don't have any compassion for the brother Jordan Neely, who was murdered by that cowardly white supremacist who we have yet to identify. We're working on it. Candace, I'm going to ask you this directly. You say you don't have no compassion for mentally ill people. You say you don't have no compassion in particular for Jordan Neely. You say America has gotten soft on mentally ill people. Well, Candace, what happens if one or both of your children develops a mental illness and one day they're in the position that Jordan Neely was in? You gonna get back up here and say the same thing that you said? Cause see, you little rotten womb bitch, let me tell you something. You don't know what life could inflict upon you or your children. Why you sitting your little hard face ass up here and showing how much compassion you don't have? See, this is another delusion that the tether class often have when they express all this hatred towards particularly black folks, especially foundational black Americans. They talk as if they're immune to life itself. You don't know what blow life could deal you if you live long enough. Heaven forbid that happens to one of your children and Zaddy go up and strangle them. But see, knowing this piece of shit right here, she would probably find a way to excuse that. I'm not going to put nothing past her because see, one, I've already said it. She's not a woman. She's a bitch. And a bitch cannot be a proper mother either because you're devoid of womanhood. You can't be a mother without true womanhood. So no. I'm just putting that out there. We'll let it continue, though.
Let's make that clear. And some of you guys are watching this and you're going to say, well, of course, Candace Owens feels no compassion for him because he's a black man and she never defends black men. No, I never defend black criminals and I never defend white criminals. I have this thing. It's crazy. I just don't defend
I've seen you defend white criminals all the time, Candace. She can't even keep up with her own lies. And in your mind, your little twisted mind, Candace, every black person is a criminal anytime anybody in the dominant society, whether it's a race soldier or a deputized race soldier, does something to them. They're a criminal. They're a criminal. See, white supremacists, I made this statement on Twitter. If we're going to start offing people because of crimes, do you really want to go there? You think about it. See, I'm gonna show you where I'm going with this. If that's the case, if that's the criteria, if we going to buy criminals, then before Carolyn Dunham Bryant met her cancerous end, may she rest in peace, that was a criminal. Before Ruth Hill Turner, the piece of shit that aided in getting George Stanley Jr. killed, that was a criminal. Let's go even further than that. If we look at all the crimes that the dominant society, the white supremacist dominant society, has committed around the world, then Candace, if we going by executing criminals, it should be on site anytime one of them show up anywhere. See, I'm going to tell you, Candace, you better be careful with that. Because, see, if that's what we're going to do, we judge them by crimes. Look at the crimes they've committed throughout history. Oh, yeah, Candace. You don't want to talk about that, do you? Let's look at all the crimes they've committed just towards our tribe in general. Slavery, Jim Crow, on up to present day we've seen with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, Mike Brown, Rekia Boyd, Ayanna Jones, Tamir Rice. Oh, I could be in here naming names all night. If we're going to talk about dealing with criminals, imagine if that was the standard. See, imagine if we had the standard that the North Sentinelese have anytime we see one of them is on site. You sure you want to go there, Candace? See, these are arguments you have to start presenting towards the white supremacists should you choose to give them your time, because it's really not worth the arguing with these goofy white trolls. The one reason why I say that is because what's happening to them can't be reversed. Them little numbers gonna keep on dwindling. The only thing I want my people to understand is your mindsets, as those numbers start to dwindle, they're going to get more violent. The attack that we seen, the cowardly attack that we seen on our brother Jordan Neely, if you're a black person, I'm gonna say it again in case you just joined us here tonight. When you out here in these public transportation systems, make sure you're watching each other's back. Make sure if you see a black person, especially young black children today, and I'm saying this to you as well, because you are our future. I understand that a lot of you out here like to be on your phones. You like to have Bluetooth and everything. You must now have situational awareness, okay? You need to be aware of your environment. If you're going to have your Bluetooth and be into your phones and all of that stuff, make sure there's somebody around you in your group that's watching to make sure there's nobody trying to sneak up behind you and do what this piece of shit did that we have yet to identify that killed Jordan Neely. See, we all got to be looking out for one another, okay? That's the message I want to make sure I get across to my people, because there's going to be more of this nationwide. They're going to try this, and we can stop them from doing it if we just adopt the culture of the South, where we don't stand around and let them do anything to one of us, okay? No. Look, let me tell you something. Let's go further here with it, too, before we let this piece of shit continue, because we talking solutions over here tonight. If you a young black person and you in a situation like that and you think you too little or too young to do something, call some of your people up. See, we got to start thinking in protective fashion towards our people. You see something like that going on? You know you got them cousins that's about that life. Hey, yo, fam, we down here over at XYZ Street. These Mayo folks over here trying to jump on this sister XYZ. I'm just giving you a set. Yeah, call them up. That's what we're going to have to start doing. We're going to have to start looking out for one another, because, see, we get down like that down here. See, look, let me tell you something. The white supremacists down here in Georgia, oh, yeah, they some of the worst of the worst. Oh, yes, they are. Oh, yes. I've showed you many times on this channel how dirty they are and why we use that term dirty South down here in Georgia and other southern regions of the United States. But see, one thing that they know they can't play around with us like that down here, because in a second, we'll flip on a dime and make sure we stomp their asses out if that's what need to be done. They know what it is. See, the rules are very clear down here. See, you brothers and sisters in these metro areas, y'all can't adopt that individualistic lifestyle where you try to just be like, man, they ain't got nothing to do. No. Especially if you see that it's unjust. No, man, that you better be black first. See, when we say black first, That means a bunch of things, but primarily protecting one another, okay? That's the way to survive, because see, it's gonna be more of this. When you let them get away with this stuff, and see, we don't know what's gonna happen with this situation if we can't identify this guy and force them to charge him with murder. That emboldens the next one. You think about the Kyle Rittenhouses out here. Remember what we told you about that? Now, there was no gun involved in this situation, but you got to be delusional if you think for 1 second that the Kyle Rittenhouse effect doesn't have something to do with this. When you look at the history of New York with the Bernard Getz situation, the little punk that was running around trying to be Charles Bronson and Dirty Harry. See, you better understand what the history of this means when these people are allowed to do things to us with impunity. This little goofy Tetherwench right here that's not connected to our history in this country. Oh, no. We're not going to let this slide. And see, I'm going to say this, Candace, when your day come, make sure you remember all this stuff you said about black people, because see, one thing I've lived long enough to see, when that time do come, they reach out to us, the very same people that they've been denigrating and targeting for help. Now, you on your own. You on your own. You won't get it from me. I'm going to tell you that right now. I know we're compassionate people, but when her day come, this bitch should be on her own. I'm gonna let this motherfucker continue though, because like I said, we got a lot more to break down right here. We're gonna give some solutions. Like I said, we've been giving them all throughout the broadcast. If you just join us, or go back to the start of the broadcast, we're gonna be talking about how we can solve this problem here tonight though. Let's let it continue.
Criminals. I know it's wild. I just don't come out here out of the gates and I feel compassion and emotion for people that are spreading harm in our society. But before we get there, so I want you to know that I am an equal offender of crazy people, okay? On my way to London, I encountered, and unbelievably, I have footage to show you, a crazy white girl at the airport. And you are going to see what my reaction was to this crazy person, okay? Let me set the situation up before we show you the footage. I am barefoot playing in a little open lounge area that they have for children at the Nashville airport with my 2 children. That means I am with a 2-year-old and I am with a 10-month-old. Playing on the ground when I hear a commotion that is taking place feet away from me. Immediately, my instinct is to take my child and to hand my infant daughter over and my 2-year-old son over to the nanny so I can understand what is happening. And what do I see? I see a white girl that is walking up to the police officers, screaming at them, saying that they are going to make her TikTok famous. She then takes her fist and she starts trying to punch this officer in the face as she's leaning back, and the officer is leaning back, avoiding her shots. And of course, a crowd has gathered. Of course, it just happens to be the circumstance that Candace Owens is standing there watching this. And the crowd is saying nothing because the girl is with a group of people that are defending her and telling people that it would be inappropriate for them to record her. At this point, I obviously intervened and I told her that she was inappropriate and that she was a psycho, and you're not going to believe what she said to me, guys. Take a listen.
Now, before she plays this, okay? This is going to be an example of how far gone Candace Owens is. Because, see, she doesn't understand that just because she's married to a white man, that doesn't give her any sway or pull in the dominant society. See, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna make a prediction. One day, what she's about to do right here that we're gonna analyze, one day what's gonna happen is she's gonna intervene in white people's business, because those of us raised down here in the South, we've all had a grandparent tell us this: stay out white folks' business when they got a conflict amongst each other that ain't got nothing to do with your black ass. That's probably how it's gonna end up happening for her. She gonna end up interjecting herself into the middle of something, not knowing her place as a little mascot, because that's all that bitch is. And one of them gonna deal with her. I promise you, I guarantee you, that's probably how it's gonna go. I'm gonna show y'all what I mean, though. I want y'all to see this. We gonna stop and analyze some things here in this footage here.
What?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Record her.
She's disgusting. Record her. You should be ashamed of yourself talking to a police officer like that. You should be ashamed of yourself speaking to a police officer like that. The work that they do to keep us safe. Unacceptable. What the hell was that?
She was surprised. She was surprised that I was intervening because, as she asks, aren't you black? Aren't you black? I'm calling the police officer a pig. This actually took place at Nashville Airport in front of me. She's trying to punch a police officer. She's calling him a pig, and she says that he's going to make her TikTok famous.
See, now you see what I'm talking about when I say that she's beyond help and delusional. Let me show you where she got this wrong at. And a lot of you probably caught it, but I'm going to go ahead and break it down and make sure everybody understands what just happened in that clip. When that white woman turned around and said, "Aren't you black?" Candace thinks that she's dealing with a liberal white person that's like, "Oh, I'm surprised a black person is saying something about me assaulting this cop." No, little ignorant bitch. Pay attention, Candace. The white woman looked at you and said, "Aren't you black?" because she's looking at you like, "Nigga, don't you know your place? You don't have no authority over me, little nigga bitch." That's what the white woman wanted to. Look, family, do you understand that? When that white woman turned and said, "Aren't you black?" that's what she meant. She was like, "Who are you to be questioning me? I'm a white woman." See, Candace, this is the danger about these others going and getting married to these people or dating them. They really do forget their place in American society. They think that because they're not a part of foundational Black American lineage, they think, "Oh, I'm an African or I'm a Jamaican or whatever the case may be. Oh, they're not going to talk to me like that because that's y'all." No. That's why that white woman was looking at you saying, "Aren't you black, Candace?" But see, she's too damn stupid to understand that. That's why I say I guarantee you what's going to happen to her one day. She's going to go in and get in the middle of that business, and it's going to be at the wrong time in the wrong place, and she's going to see how white supremacists really feel about her little black ass. See, let me tell Tether something, right? Just because you toe the line, you talk shit about particularly foundational black Americans or all black people, because some of them hate their own people. Okay, let's be clear on that. Just because you toe that coon line, that doesn't make them see you as one of them. No, see, let me be blunt with this. Family, let me tell y'all something. White supremacy is what it is all over the nation. But when it comes to the Southern white supremacy, I know a lot of people don't like it when you say this, but I got to tell the truth and I can prove it. If Candace Owens come down here to some of these Georgia territories where these white supremacists running wild, Kennesaw, Georgia, Griffin, Georgia, on down, Rebecca, Georgia. Let me tell you something. Come down here with that coon talk if you want to and see if these white folks gonna be like, "Yeah, you know what? She's one of us." They don't give a fuck. See, you got some old school white supremacists down here. They don't give a damn what you talking about. You a nigga first. They don't care what's coming out your mouth. You understand me? Anybody from Georgia would tell you that. See, there's another myth that's been going around among some of our people. They talking about, "Oh, ain't no such thing as the Klan no more. You use the devil is a lie." Oh, no, the hell, yes, it is. Oh, yes, the Klan is alive and well down here in Georgia. Do they operate the same? No. Yes, the fuck they are. And we don't relegate white supremacy to just the Ku Klux Klan. Let me make that clear. But what I'm saying is, those like her that come down here in the South with that little coon, they don't care about that. See, you can get away with that in some of the northern places out west where there's, conservative white supremacists. They'll tolerate you. These old school traditional white supremacists, family, I'll tell you what you do. I'll tell you what you do. Because I told you this channel, this entire platform is a resource and a learning tool. You go down and scroll through my archives and look at that broadcast where I detail some of the most dangerous white supremacist groups. And I detailed one called Operation Werewolf. Candace, you run up on some of these down here, they're not trying to hear nothing you got to say. They don't care how much you praise white people and hate black folks. You are the enemy. See, a true traditional white supremacist looks at you as something to eliminate, particularly a black woman, from any place on the planet. You know why? Because one of the core tenets among the traditional white supremacists, any black woman, and I want y'all to hear me and pay attention to this, especially those of you that are not familiar with Southern white supremacy and the traditional ones that haven't abandoned that, they look at any black female that's capable of giving birth as something to be eliminated. They don't care about you towing the line. Let me get that clear. See, she don't understand. She hadn't really been around no real white supremacists. the little goofballs in the suits that sit up there, the men primarily that tolerate you because they let you use you as a mouthpiece, their counterparts down here in the South hate their asses for that. You got that damn nigger up there speaking for us. You man, listen. I'm telling you what I know, not what I think. I bet you she won't come down here, boy, with that. Like I said, Candace, I tell you what, Candace, I got an open challenge for you. Look up Rebecca, Georgia, and come down there with your little dog and pony show. See how they treat you. Because, see, for those of you that don't know what Rebecca, Georgia is, that is a modern-day sundown town. Oh, yes. A lot of y'all know about Griffin, Georgia, Forsyth County, Georgia. Oh, Rebecca, Georgia got them beat, buddy. Let me tell you something. That's Vidor, Texas on steroids. You understand me? Some of these places down here and these places I just mentioned look like you went back in time, man. Come down there, Candace, and do that little dog and pony show and see how that work out for you. I want you to record that and see how that go for you. Back to business. Don't come during the daytime. Go down there at night. Go see what happened then, Candace. But she got all the answers, though. We're going to let her continue.
Until somebody, that being me, outwardly shamed her. And then you hear what she says, I have Tourette's. Oh, there it is, guys. Another mental illness. So the entire world, which, by the way, if you have Tourette's, you should be offended. Last I checked, Tourette syndrome did not mean that you want to be TikTok famous and be violent towards police officers. But what do I know? Everybody has a special disorder. Maybe she has some rare new age TikTok disorder. Well, in order to get famous, you have to punch a police officer in the face. I don't know and I don't care. I was with my children. I don't care that this was a white girl. I certainly do not care that she is mentally ill. My question is, why are mentally ill people constantly allowed to be in public, putting the public at risk? Why was Jordan Neely allowed to be put onto a subway, allowed to be walking around freely in New York after 44 prior arrests? Can someone explain that to me? Why does the white girl who has Tourette's syndrome and wants to beat a police officer allowed to clear security to board a flight to London? Somebody explain that to me. I'll tell you why. It's because we've gotten soft on mental illness, okay? We've gotten soft on shaming people. We have gotten soft on being the people that stand up and say something. Because let me tell you something. After I did say something to mental ill girl, TikTok virus, whatever it is she has, she calmed down. She was so embarrassed. Oh my God, the audacity of someone to shame her in the airport and tell her she was inappropriate.
Do you hear the delusion coming out this little old evil Tetherwench's mouth? She actually believes that she has some power over that white woman. Family, this is the level of insanity that this piece of shit has descended into. No white person views you as a threat, and she didn't calm down because of nothing you said. See, she doesn't understand that the white lady was calm because she knows you are powerless, Candace. You running your mouth and showing your ass don't mean nothing. Because, see, mark my words, this is what a little dumbass don't understand. If she would have tried to physically intervene in that situation, them same race soldiers that was dealing with her, that white woman was hitting, they would have turned on her little stupid black ass. That's the part that she don't understand. See, Candace, if you think I'm wrong, because I know you're gonna catch this. I know she's meticulous about anybody use her content. Again, fair use, ain't nothing you can do about it, but not like it. Candace, put this to the test. Next time you see a situation like that, go intervene and see what happens. Go lend some assistance to the good white officers. Go ahead. If they're dealing with another white person now, this is what I want you to do. You go and show your support for the boys in blue. Go do that. See what happens to you then. Well, it's amazing, family. You can't make this up. Let's let it continue.
This is what needs to take place. Public shamings, public lambastings, and let me make something very abundantly clear. Had that police officer not had been there when I was at the airport, had the two officers not had been there assisting the situation, and that girl grew violent around my children, I would have been the person putting her in a chokehold. It would have been me. I am so sick of this gloves.
And Candace, let me tell you something. When you would have tried that, one thing that other white people are not going to do, no matter what their people do, is stand around and watch their people get assaulted. Oh, I'm going there. Oh, I'm going there. Look, I ain't never seen it. Hey, get off of them. That's too much. What are you doing? You're not a police officer. Candace, you would have tried it and they would have immediately beat your motherfucking ass. See, when these zaddies that get them and put them off in these little sheltered, pampered positions, and they corral them away from the real white supremacy, they get to thinking that they can just run the yard like that. Candace, I guarantee you ain't no situation where you gonna run up on them people like that and put your hands on them first, and a group of them just stand there and watch you do it. Ha! Go ahead and try it. Like I said, in fact, do what I said. Come to Rebecca, Georgia, and try that. Come do that. Go down there. Go try that. See how that work out for you. This is what she thinks, though, family. We ain't done with it yet, though. We got some more to get to here tonight because, see, if you think this is bad about her not knowing her place amongst them people, oh, it gets worse. Let's let it continue.
On approach when it comes to mental illness, I am so sick of a world that says that there's something wrong with us for commenting on it, that there's something wrong with us for being fearful, and it is going to take people taking these scenarios into their own hands rather than relying on a system where politicians are angry at police officers and angry at veterans for standing up for other civilians. So that's my take. I don't feel bad for Jordan Neely. I don't feel bad for crazy white girl with Tourette's at the airport. I feel bad for the rest of us because no one has the courage to say that we need to bring back insane asylums. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
As you all
Yeah, we gonna leave it right there with that piece of shit. Because, see, Candace, let me correct you on something, you little maggot, you. For those of us that are actually combat veterans, okay, what this little punk ass did is not considered courageous or heroic. Especially to those of us that started out in any branch of the service with silver tags, and before we left, we had black tags. For those of you that understand that, you know what I mean. We don't use that, look at that kind of behavior, picking on civilians as heroic. See, that's how you can tell that little punk, even though he was a part of Marines, he never did an active tour of duty where he was on the battlefield. He couldn't have. See, let me explain something to y'all, right? Let me give you something that soldiers, particularly those that have done active combat tours of duty, something that professional fighters, especially black folks, okay, professional fighters, people that are well trained to deal with physical threats in real situations, we don't go around trying to harm people like that. That's a last resort. Look, the categories that I just named, people like that have done that type of work, or if there was a profession or whatever, or they competed in something where they had to be physically adept at defending themselves. Those are the, man, if you meet people like us, man, we like to laugh because, one, let me tell you why a lot of us are like that. We've seen shit that nobody shouldn't have to see. And if you first of all, you're thankful to have survived it. So for the most part, you try to be pleasant. And you're jovial. You try to be cordial towards people because it's a last resort for you to piss off somebody with some type of combat training or physical training to the point where they have to fight you. Usually those are the people that, hey, man, you got it, man. You got it, bro. I'm gonna let you have it. Now, if you become a threat where you got to be dealt with, you better get to praying or whatever deal that you got to deal with then. Because, see, yeah, you're going to find out real quick that was the wrong thing to do. But as far as going around starting something with people, we look down on that, man. No. Especially when you know the average person doesn't have your type of training. No, you don't get no cool points for that at all. At all. Family, you know what? I want to show you something else, though, real quick. Because, see, we're going to show you how bad this delusion is with her. We got to thoroughly dissect this. This is the tweet that she put up. I meant to show this earlier in the broadcast. This tweet she put up. Mental illness is not an excuse to behave violently in public. Jordan Neely did not behave violently towards anyone in public. Please note that if you cannot contain your illness, in quotations, and you behave violently around me or my children, I will do my absolute best to put you in a chokehold. Okay. Candace. I doubt this woman has ever had a physical confrontation in her entire life. See, the people that talk the loudest, run around claiming they're the toughest, they motherfucking softest as wet tissue, man. Yeah. She gonna get her wake-up call. But see, we're gonna analyze some further things here tonight dealing with this piece of shit. Because see, I want to prove just how delusional she really is about her place in the dominant society. I'm finna show y'all something, family. We're gonna analyze this because see, a lot of you have probably already seen this. Oh yeah, you know what? We're gonna get started, then I'll get into detail about why them folks are reminding her of her place. I'm gonna let y'all hear something real quick, and we're gonna stop and break it down as need be.
So a bit of breaking news that just happened. And before we get to it, I just want to back up and tell you why we are discussing this breaking news, because it's occurred to me that there are some people out there who believe that to be a conservative, what it means is that we become tribal and we defend other conservatives even when they do things that are wrong, that we don't discuss things that are horrible on our own side because we need to just make sure that we score wins in other ways. And that is wrong. That to me is the exact opposite of why I have this platform. I am not tribal. I want to expose things when they are bad on the left, and I will also expose things when they are bad on the right. Obviously,
there she is with that right-left bullshit again. There she is. Emily, pay close attention to that. Not only just from her, but other tellers that do that, because I've seen it with them on either side of the spectrum. The left, the right, the left, the right. You never hear them talk about the main threat, which is the common denominator bond between both political parties, which is white supremacy. Their dumbasses go and take sides against other white people, not knowing that their black asses are the main targets. Yeah, they'll use you for your mouthpiece to civilize white supremacists, but then again, there's the other white supremacists that are like, we don't want nothing to do with them damn niggas. Yeah, see, that's the part they don't understand. Just wanted to point that out because I want y'all to be looking for that, especially you younger black people and other tellers. Always pay attention to that, where they always talking about the left this or the right that. The common denominator threat is white supremacy, which is on code against all of us. Just want to point that out. Let's continue.
I have been interested in the Steven Crowder saga pertaining to his divorce because he literally inserted me into his divorce a couple of days ago. And his wife and family are now speaking out regarding that video in which he told people publicly that his wife was leaving him. You remember this. He chose wrong. And he essentially made it sound as if he did not want his marriage to end, but his wife simply wanted to leave. Well, she has responded by giving video, and I want to prep you. I want you to know this is horrific video. It is very difficult to watch. It's especially difficult to watch because in this footage, she is 8 months pregnant. And the video essentially reveals just how emotionally abusive he has been. And she is alleging that he has been emotionally abusive to her. And this video all but confirms it. So let's first get to the footage. I'm just going to allow you to watch it in its entirety.
I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary of abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There's no groceries. I'd be happy.
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes. How do you man? How do you man receive love and respect? No. How do you man? No, you're not taking the car.
Stephen,
you're not taking the car.
Stephen.
You are not.
Then I will ask them to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not correct, Stephen.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Stephen, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Stephen.
Like, I can't
Stephen.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either. Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Stephen.
And making it work. The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Yeah.
There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Stephen.
Hillary, you give up so easily. I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Stephen, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Stephen, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it, you go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right then, past. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife. Hillary, come on now.
I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to engage anymore. I'm going to go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not going to.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to you. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take Betty.
Now, I let that play in its entirety, family, for a reason. Let me before Candace gets started with the tap dancing, let me make something clear. I didn't give any commentary during that footage because I wanted you all to see and hear it in its entirety without any interruptions. Now let's get some things straight, okay? Because I want to make my stance on things like this very clear on this platform. First and foremost, if I had a wife and she was pregnant, she wouldn't have to be worrying about going nowhere to pick up nothing because one, let me tell you how I view things as a man. Let me tell you how I was raised, okay? That's my wife and she's pregnant with my child or children. I'm going to be with her going somewhere. I will do the driving and take her somewhere because one, I don't want her out by herself, especially in this climate today with these crazy ass white supremacists running around here like that punk bitch that choked out our brother Jordan Neely. I would be too concerned about what would happen to her outside of my presence. No, because a woman is in a very vulnerable state when they're pregnant. So that's the first thing I want to get out the way. His behavior and his tone, that clearly is indicative of how a lot of the white supremacist males treat their women. Now, let me make this clear. Am I putting the cape on for his wife? No, and I'm going to tell you why. And I want y'all to listen closely when I say this. The reason why I'm not putting the cape on for his wife, she knew what he was like when she started dealing with him. These same women that a lot of people are feeling sorry for, again, he's wrong for what he said and did in that video. Making threats towards your pregnant wife, man? No, I don't co-sign that at all. But the point that I'm making is she knew what he was like because, see, these same white women that a lot of women be like, man, that's wrong. They'll be sitting up there while they talking about how they killed niggas and this, that, and the third and laughing at what happened to George Floyd and Jordan Neely, Breonna Taylor, so on and so forth. So no, I do not feel sorry for his wife. Do I agree with what he did and said? No, I do not. But it's wrong to sit there and deal with somebody like that. See, that's the part that the white supremacist female, the price she has to pay in order to keep the protection of the white supremacist male. They have to put up with that type of abuse. So when you see the Dinesh D'Souza's and their what's his Rashad Swami or whatever the hell his name is, they always trying to put white people and white men on a pedestal on the standard about them being like what we should strive to be. This is how they are in their households towards their women. They know that. And if you choose to deal with that, something's wrong with you. Do you understand? That's why she gets no sympathy from me, because she made the choice to deal with him. The part that we finna get to now, though, we finna get to this part. I want y'all to listen to what Candace is about to say, because again, she don't understand her place over there as a mascot. I'm not going to show it on this channel, but trust me when I tell you, you can still find some of these tweets. When she made the comments about Steven Crowder, because that's who was in the footage that we saw, a lot of y'all probably don't know, they call him a comedian. The clown isn't funny. He's just a white supremacist. But when she started trying to put out these statements and take the white woman's side, because see, they think that they're women first, the Tetherwenches, going against Steven Crowder, white men and white women was calling her all types of nigga bitches on Twitter. Go and look it up. Oh, go and type in Candace Owens, Steven Crowder, and look at what they was calling her. I ain't gonna put it over here on this channel. It's easy for you to find. I want you to listen to what she's about to say, though, because, see, this is why we keep telling the feminists, it's woman first thing. See, let me just go ahead and be blunt before she starts talking. There is no situation under heaven where white women look at black women as if there's a camaraderie with you. Your issues are not the same. They will use you as a mascot. Same for the black LGBTQ community. It's the same for y'all too, but we dealing with this. They don't even have camaraderie with the wannabe white adjacent supremacists. The Asians, the Hispanics, the East Indians, the Arabs. No, the white woman is all about herself. All about herself. She does not have allies. You think I'm lying? Go back and look at the history of feminism. Who has white women ever equally shared power with since the feminist movement started? All those other so-called women allies, do they really advocate to share power with them? No, they don't. Let alone a black woman. So I'm just putting this in proper context so when this fool start talking, you can understand why she sounds like she's silly. Because, man, I'm going to tell you, where I got the screen pause right here, she looked like she high on something. She's high on that coon crack. Yeah, see, y'all got to watch that, boy. That coon crack is out there, boy. She done took a couple of hits off of a pipe with that coon crack, boy. She is on it, boy. I'm telling you. But, hey, we're gonna let y'all hear what she sound like when she take a hit off that coon crack. Because, man, I'm going to tell you, boy, she really don't understand her place in this society. Let's let her continue.
So that is both heartbreaking and infuriating for me to watch. I cannot even comprehend how any man can speak to a woman like that, least of all when she is 8 months pregnant. And sadly, that isn't the worst part of that correspondence. The journalist that dropped this video is Yashar Ali. He dropped this as well as a Substack entry accompanying it. On the Substack article, he wrote, moments later, off camera, Steven Crowder, by his own admission, would lose control and scream at his pregnant wife in a threatening tone, quote, "I will you up," end quote, which led his wife to flee their home. She then sent a statement, which I want to be very clear. This statement I knew was going to come out. I didn't know any of this information. I had no idea there was a video or there was any evidence. I did know that their family was thinking about issuing a statement, and Hillary Crowder did issue a statement. And I'm going to read you that statement in its entirety because it's important. I think it reveals a lot of the lies that Steven has been telling publicly to his audiences.
Now, before she reads her statement about the lies that Steven was telling to his audiences, see, this is going to show you how slow she really is regarding her position over there amongst them folks as their mascot. Candace is too stupid to pay attention to prior events, not just history, but present day. Let's look at one recently. Family, I'm going to ask my audience a question. When Dana White proceeded to slap his wife on video in public, did you see hordes of white people coming out saying, oh, Dana White needs to be arrested. Oh, his wife should leave him. Did you see that? Did the mainstream media do what they're doing here, talking about Jordan Neely's arrest record? Did they all come on code and say, well, you know, things happen. It was just a slap. We don't know what he was going through. They were both drinking. See, a stupid Tetherwench don't pay attention to these people always stay on code. Moreover, with the situation she's about to discuss here, okay? Moreover, with the situation she's about to discuss when I let this play, she don't understand that white supremacist men and women are going to take up for Steven Crowder because let's be clear, you're not going to see Steven Crowder go to jail for none of this. Think about it. See, this is how stupid she is. They run the power structure. If they wanted to, they could go and put handcuffs on Steven Crowder overnight. They could have put him on the time that came out. If he did anything to harm her or whatever, that's not going to happen. Even if they had evidence of him physically harming her. You know why? Because see, this is the thing that people like Candace Owens don't understand. And Stacey Dash didn't get it either because she got her wake-up call too with her little wannabe white ass, okay? These white men in this society, it's an open secret that they abuse their women like that. You know why? Because they're cool with the race soldiers. They're cool with the judges. They got people that, look, they know that they got a protection mechanism in place. That's why they're women and white women. You know I'm telling the truth about this. You know you scared to death of white men. You know what they do to children. Look on the FBI crime statistics. Who are the ones that's leading in sexual assault, molesting children? White women know what monsters their white supremacist males are. They fear their men. But they stay on code because they know that their protection isn't going to come from anywhere else. Everything that I just said, there's white women, white supremacist females, because I'm going to call them what they are since they married to them, that's married to race soldiers, come home, whoop their ass on a regular basis. Who they going to go tell? Think about it. White supremacist police sergeant or lieutenant, come home, get drunk, beat on his wife. Who the fuck she gonna go tell? She can't go tell no law enforcement in that town. Oh, that's a joke. Where you gonna go? White women, you know I'm telling the truth. But see, Candace smart, though. She ain't got all the answers. We just don't know no better. She got so much more intelligence than the rest of us. Let's let this continue. Watch this delusion. You can't make this up.
It reads, Hillary is currently living alone in Dallas, apart from her family and support system in Michigan, and is focused on taking care of her young children. She is not prepared at this time to speak about her divorce becoming public or the misleading statements made by Stephen about their relationship. The truth is that Hillary spent years hiding Stephen's mentally and emotionally abusive behavior from her friends and family while she attempted to save their marriage. She was the one who was asking to work on their relationship to keep the marriage intact for their unborn child. In June of 2021, Stephen left their home to pursue elective surgery. That's very important. I want you to remember that. I'm going to come back to that point. Hillary urged him to get the help he needed to address his abuse with the hope that their marriage could be saved and they could peacefully live together as a family. Instead, Stephen refused to do so and chose not to be with his wife during the birth of their twin children. After the birth, Stephen bought a townhouse and left their home permanently. Hillary was not aware that Stephen hired a divorce attorney and asked his assistant to cut Hillary off financially. There is significant documentation substantiating these facts. I want you to remember that portion as well, because that's another lie that Stephen has told publicly. We hope that Stephen will cease from speaking publicly about these personal matters in an untruthful manner. We also look forward to there being full transparency in the legal process so there is fairness and accountability for the actions that caused the divorce and to ensure the outcome is what is in the best interests of the young children. I would first like to go back to that portion where she says Stephen left their home to pursue elective surgery, because I know exactly what surgery she's referring to, because during my first backstage here at Daily Wire, we actually prayed for Stephen and this surgery. So before I show you a clip from us on backstage, here is Stephen describing that surgery, and it certainly doesn't sound like it's elective. Take a listen.
Now, before the crackhead coonstress here, on her coon crack, goes and plays this, family, do you see how tightly she keep her lips wrapped around white ass? Just all in the middle of white folks' business. See, it's one thing to be cordial towards people of any race. But see, what astounds me is when I see those like her, they really think they're right there and they all a part of the family. This is how you know they had never really been around no true hardcore stomp down white supremacists, because first of all, they're not finna associate with you like that. But see, for the ones that tolerate you, I was praying for him and his family. They're not gonna pray for your black ass or nobody in your family if you had no surgery. White people don't think about black folks like that. Come on, let's just keep it real. See, a lot of people don't like to say that like that. No. They don't give a fuck about you like that. I was praying for him, so I knew what surgery he had. And see, the other thing she don't understand is no matter what happened to Steven Crowder's wife and his situation, she gonna be all right. The family courts here favor them above all other women in a divorce. Let's be clear. Ain't nobody getting more money than white women in a divorce when it go bad. So Candace, you sitting up here putting the cape on for her. Oh, she gonna be all right. Candace, let me go ahead and tell you something right now. And fair use one more time, because I already know you ain't gonna like this. Don't really give two shits. Somebody got to tell you the truth. Candace, what you better be worried about is when Zaddy get ready to soccer you out. You better be worrying about that because, see, what's going to happen is, Candace, let me tell you a little secret. When Zaddy get ready to divorce one of you Tetherwenches or anybody in the wenchcraft class, Zaddy don't just let you go on your way. Go ahead and look at the statistics between when Zaddy get ready to dump one of the Tetherwenches and he call it quits. You don't get to pat Zaddy pockets like that. Oh yeah, see, the system works for them in that situation particularly. Don't believe me, look it up. Halle Berry found out the hard way. Aisha Tyler found out the hard way. Garcelle Bouveau found out the hard way. Oh yeah, I'm naming the names. See, when Zaddy get ready to leave you, he gonna pat them pockets. You better be worried about what happened, because that day gonna come. Because see, Candace, you see, this is what you don't understand. What you don't understand, and I'm gonna say damn near 90%, if not all, of these white men that do decide to marry those of you in the wenchcraft class, they always got a white side piece. Yeah, they'll go live with you. They'll go put some babies in you. But they're not going to stop wanting their women. Oh, yeah, I'm saying it like that. Somebody need to tell this delusional bitch the truth. You really think, come on now, let's use some common sense. You really think that these white men are going to stop messing around with white women? She probably know about it, though, because, I mean, like I said, the woman is not attractive and ain't got nothing to do with her skin tone. Now, she's just a hideous-looking woman in the face. That woman has never been attractive. Not to mention that she don't know how to keep herself in a presentable manner on camera. Look at how she look here. And have you ever seen Candace Owens with a professional, decent hairstyle? Damn, woman, you got that kind of money over there. You can't even fix yourself up. Man, don't get me started on that. You really think that white man she with ain't got a white side piece somewhere? Come on, man. She gonna find out the hard way, though. Because, see, it always hit them out of left field. Whatever the reasons that he's tolerating her, it's gonna come to an end because, see, them marriages don't never last no long time. See, let's talk numbers here. For the divestment dummies, oh, I'm finna hurt some souls here. Look up the statistics on how long the marriages usually last. And this applies to the bucks too. Those interracial marriages, particularly between black people and white people, no matter the situation, black men and white women, okay, black women and white men, or black men and white women, neither situation do those marriages last a very long time. It's very rare that you see a situation like what was it, Iman and David Bowie? Okay, well, he actually passed. She actually got the bag out of that situation, from what I understand. It ain't a whole lot of that going on. Candace, your time coming. I promise you, Zaddy gonna show you. But see, I'm gonna let her talk though, because she's so concerned about Steven Crowder's wife. Oh, Steven Crowder, this, that, the third. Them white folks, like I said, go and look online. They was giving her ass the business when she jumped out the window the wrong way. But hey, let's let her talk though. She got it all figured out. We don't know nothing.
I explained to you a little bit what it is. You know, a lot of people say, why are you smoking? My heart is actually great, but my heart doesn't work great. And the reason my heart doesn't work great is, long story short, because of a connective tissue disorder I have, and my chest is caving in on my heart. So I've got about, I'm at a little more than half of the blood flow that you guys have, ventricular output from my heart. So it's a mechanical fix. And I don't know, maybe I'll feel like Lance Armstrong, you know, like I'm on EPO after this, because I don't know what it's like to go through life with full blood flow. To me, I'm looking forward to it, not looking forward to the pain. Lance Armstrong, by the way, with the 3 balls, not the one. So yeah, it's overall a positive thing, and honestly, I've probably needed a little bit of rest. It comes in the form of having my chest cracked open.
Obviously, he had the surgery and then his lung collapsed, and here is us praying for him, praying that he actually gets better.
Before we leave, I just have to, this one off the subject for a minute. Our pal, Steve Crowder, who makes the best ashtrays in the country,
Truly.
is in the hospital fighting for his life.
Notice who she's in this room with. Your eyes are not deceiving you. That's Ben Shapiro over there. In a room, just comfortable being in a room with nothing but white supremacists. You know what? We got to go back and see something, because see, did y'all see how big her damn eyes was in the beginning of this? Hold on, man. We got to go back. Look at that, man. Why them eyes always bucking when you see this motherfucker? Look like something straight off a damn plantation. No, seriously. Look at them eyes, man. Big as hell. The white folks are saying something. Zad is speaking. Let me see what he got. Let that. Oh my God. Tetherwench mammy. Oh, family. I'm sorry. I had to go there. I had to take that back. See, you know what? This needs to be a meme. I'm going to have to make a meme out of this. I'm going to have to. Y'all know me. When I come up with something, hey, don't be surprised if you look on my community tab when I shout out the contributor to the broadcast. If I hadn't turned this into a meme, if y'all don't beat me to it, you know me. I'm not going to play no games with this heifer. Oh, my God. Just let her talk, though. This is ridiculous.
Leave. I just have to, this one off the subject for a minute. Our pal, Steve Crowder, who makes the best ashtrays in the country,
Truly.
is in the hospital fighting for his life, and he's really come close. He's come close to the dark edge of things. And I just want to say that crazy as he is, we love him, and we're thinking about him. That we hope he makes it back.
You're a better man than I am.
Well, that's true.
I was actually just looking forward to the show being over so that I could text him and say, hope you don't make it, pal.
Actually, this is a real story. Last night I had to go for a drive because
look at us sitting on there. Her little stupid ass. Do you know how much danger your ass is in when you surrounded by these white supremacists like this? Now, these are the civilized ones that tolerate her ass for image effect and use her as a mascot. But see, you better beware of any brother or sister that comfortable being surrounded by these motherfuckers. He's laughing. And see what the little white supremacist just said there? He meant that shit. He meant that. I'm going to tell you, that's how her wake-up call going to come, though, because, see, she too comfortable around them folks. I'm not mocking them, but think back to the situation where that brother in Philadelphia went along with them white supremacists up there to go hunting. All of us down here who are foundational black Americans, especially in the South, we know better than not to do that. If you can help it, you don't isolate yourself with them people right there. Every one of these white men in this room can't stand her black ass. She's being tolerated, yet she thinks she's so much smarter. When they get in positions like that, they think that they're better than us because, oh, see, I'm just like one of them. No, you're being tolerated. You too stupid. You the only one don't get the joke. Hey, but I digress, though. Let it continue.
It's a long story, but I had to burn down gas to take my car into the shop. And so I was going to smoke a cigar and, I was going to say my nightly prayers. And I thought, I should probably pray for Crowder, because he's in this. And I thought, what's great? I'm going to light up one of the cigars that Crowder sent me.
Yeah.
And Crowder, this guy who's a complete maniac, he sent me these beautiful cigars. And I was like, oh, pal, I'm going to send you some cigars right away from my humidor. Haven't sent him a single thing, but that guy, he, really a generous fellow. And doesn't get enough credit.
I actually did text him and say that we were praying for him at great risk to our souls.
and if he dies, I personally will kill him. Right?
And yet, according to his wife, this was an elective surgery, really a cosmetic surgery, because Stephen didn't like the way that his chest looked because he had a sunken chest. And it was not something that was actually required to save his life. And yet we see that same pattern of behavior. Stephen garnering a ton of affection and prayers from his followers, purporting to be the victim, when in fact the facts don't line up with his narrative. The second portion that I'd like to point to is where it says Hillary was not aware that Stephen hired a divorce attorney. This stands in stark contrast to what he told his followers when he said how hard divorce was and how difficult and horrific it had been and how he really didn't want it and just, Texas is a no-fault divorce state. What is the truth here? I don't know. Obviously, right now we have his wife's word versus Stephen's word, but given my personal experience with Stephen, I am very much inclined to believe his wife. Now,
white women don't give a damn who you believe. The greater majority of them, Candace, look at you as a mammy out of place. They showed you that on Twitter. See, no matter how delusional she is in her own mind, the difference is, Candace, in the real world, white supremacy is going to let you know your place. She going to have to learn the hard way, though, family. I want y'all to listen to how invested she is in this woman's situation. Because, again, she's a white woman going through a divorce. She's going to be just fine. Trust me when I tell you. You better go and look at some of these figures, man. What they did, man, if a white dude, why you think, listen, I don't take no stock in none of what this clown say, or none of these clowns rather, but I'm gonna name some names. There's a reason why you hear Rollo Tomasi and Tom Likas and all these other buck dancing white clowns over there in white manosphere talk the way they talk. Okay? Anthony Dream Johnson, all the rest of them. There's a reason why they talk about their women like that. They know that due to the simp class in white male society that have set these family courts up to just violate men, they know these white women gonna make out like bandits. Candace the only one hadn't figured it out because she don't understand that you will never in your life, no matter how much pink pole you bounce up and down on, no matter how many white men you marry, you will never understand what it's like to be a white woman in America. You will never have that level of privilege. They're not going to see you as a comrade, okay, or nothing. She don't get it. Biggest walking joke ever, man. Let's let it continue.
I do get in some other portions of this article, which I think are really important. The writer has a bunch of audio files and text messages that were sent to him that he was able to review. He writes, in audio files and text messages that I reviewed, Steven Crowder admits to some of his faults, which include a volcanic temper, repeatedly and at times regretfully. But according to sources that I spoke to who are familiar with their relationship, Crowder's admissions often came after a sustained period of mental and emotional abuse, and he didn't seem to be able to control his impulses. That, again, is something that I have seen personally. Very bizarre, but he would insert me into a divorce announcement and purport that I somehow extorted him. It's very bizarre in the way that he attacked the Daily Wire, and there just seem to be a lot of signs that he is not able to control his emotions. And so the question that I will ask is how many people are going to allege abuse from Steven Crowder before we listen, before we stop saying he's one of us because he says things that he agrees with? We purport that we are the party of family values. How can you look at that video and defend him in any way?
Now let's stop it right here. This is something else that we have to point out that the Tether class keeps doing. Notice how she said, and notice how that Ramaswamy guy, the little Indian clown, Dinesh D'Souza's little twin, little punk ass. Notice how when these Tethers talk, particularly when they get involved in these politics, we have to stop defending him as if he's one of us. No, you're not one of them just because you are aligned politically with their viewpoints. See, when they say that, they think that they're just like the white people. No, you're not. You're a mascot. A convenient, willful idiot tool. That's what you are. Candace, one of us. In their minds, they think that, though. They really do believe it. Well, I tell you, all you got to do is kick back. Because, see, let me tell you what Candace doesn't realize also, particularly with this situation here. And that's the reason why she made those comments about Jordan Neely, too. Let's be clear. I'm not blind to why she did it. She understands that when she made these comments about Steven Crowder, because this happened before the Jordan Neely situation, she understands she's got to do something to try to get back in their good graces. But Candace, you've gone too far. You've gone too far this time, Candace. When you start calling yourself trying to check white men about how they treat their women, watch how fast they turn on your ass. See, let me tell you something. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. By this time next year, it's going to be a whole different situation for Candace. She don't understand that white men punish their tools, their bootlicks, when they get out of line in both the Democrat and the Conservative Party. Just wait. See, if anybody doubts what I'm saying, like, oh, GBS, it ain't going to be that bad. Oh, yeah? Watch this. Let me show you something. Yeah, I pay attention to things over here, and I like to teach you how to think by reminding you of certain things. Remember when Tommy Lauren got out of line with white men? What was it? About 2 years ago, something like that. Remember those statements Tommy Lauren made where she called herself wagging her finger at white men? Now, this is something I'll get a white supremacist male credit for. They got on code overnight and put that bitch back in her place. She had to come out and apologize and hadn't said another mumbling word similar to what she said since. Y'all remember that? Go back and look that shit up where Tommy Lauren was coming out there talking about how white men are the worst to date and all this other kind of stuff. Oh, she started thinking that she was going to do what a lot of the black feminists do to black men. White men were like, oh, Bitch, do you think we black men? Is that what you think? That's how the white supremacist male look at. Oh, you okay? We finna show you some. Overnight, they got in her ass, made her ass apologize. Where her career at now? See, the white supremacist male runs the power structure. Tommy Lauren fucked up. She'll never be back on another major news network again. And see, Candace, the Coon Owens there, right here, she don't understand that if they'll do that to one of their own women about getting out of line, huh? Huh, little Tetherwench? If they was willing to get one of their own women, what you think you got coming? Just wait. It's coming. Just kick back. Put something in the slow cooker. Kick back, throw on some jazz or whatever you like. Let's do. Just kick your feet up. Don't worry. Her time is coming. Mark my words. This time next year, totally different situation for her. So let it continue.
How can you look at that video and not roundly condemn this and say this is not something that actually represents the things that we believe? The writer goes on to say, like so many things in his life in recent years, Crowder's temper and paranoia led him to destroy his relationships with Sir Shapiro, Boring, and others at the Daily Wire when he posted a video on his channel suggesting that the Daily Wire, without naming the company, was attempting to align itself with big tech by mentioning in their initial offer to him that if he was demonetized on social media platforms, that it would reduce his overall compensation. Well, again, going back to the pattern, it's not just the Daily Wire. It's David Landau. It's Sven the Computer. It's Jared Monroe, formerly known as Not Gay Jared, people that are locked into NDAs and are not allowed to speak about the abuse that they endured by Steven Crowder. It's Owen Benjamin. It's now his wife. Do you believe that all of these various different parties, the majority of them who have never spoken to each other, I've never spoken to Sven the Computer, I've never spoken to David Landau, I've never spoken to Hillary Crowder, I've never spoken to Owen Benjamin. Do you believe that all of these people, as is the paranoid narrative that Steven Crowder is presenting, are working maybe in collusion with big tech to try to destroy him? Or do you believe it's plausible that Steven Crowder is just a monster?
See, she thinks using all those conservative buzzwords, big tech, and all this other stuff, that's all the parody talking points. She really does think that she's in there when she does that. But see, let me explain something to you about the white supremacist male when it comes to power, okay? Mark my words, if she makes some type of retraction or just shuts up about this Steven Crowder situation, let me tell you why that's going to happen. Because I know we, as black men, as foundational black American men, we know how they think, okay? Let me tell you what's finna happen. She's married to a white man. What's gonna happen is other white men are gonna be like, they gonna pull him to the side. Listen, man, look, it's cute that you are slumming with your little bedwench wife, your little Tetherwench wife, but she better shut her mouth about white men. Now, you got two options. Because I'm going to tell you, look, I know how they talk to each other. I want y'all to listen closely. They're going to pull him to the side or give him a couple calls and be like, listen, you got two options. You can have that conversation with her and make sure that she stop doing that and don't mention another white man's situation. Because, see, if the mainstream white media is covering up something and you got this little cog in the machine that's thinking that they're going to go against that, see, there's not no liberal conservative media. There's white supremacist media. If they all get on code and decide to cover up something like they did with Dana White, and you got this one little big mouth niggers out here that you think they're going to allow that? See, they're going to give him that phone call and be like, look, you either tell her to be quiet or what's going to happen is we're going to punish you too. So the next business deal that you think you're going to, the next time that you need a favor in white supremacist society, the next time you need us to have your back, we're going to leave you hanging. Now, if you think that they don't have that kind of power and they don't operate with each other that way, look at what Ari did with Kanye West when Kanye made the comments about the Jewish community that they didn't like. Ari Emanuel, think about it. Look how they treat each other when they get off code. You really think what I just said isn't realistic? Her husband probably already done got them phone calls. If she closed her mouth about this, or worse yet, make her take them tweets down and the video down, you already know what happened. They're like, look here, play this game if you want to. Now, you can be a part of Team White Supremacy as a white male and enjoying all the spoils that we have. This is what they say to each other. Or you can be the target of white supremacy. If you love your little niggers Tetherwench that much, Go ahead and play that game and see how that work out for you. Mark my words, family. I'm telling you, that's how they see things. They don't play that off-code shit when it comes to white supremacy. See, I'm going to tell you something, dude. Her mouth is going to get her husband in trouble with his people. Watch. If he don't go ahead and check that, he gonna suffer for that. He gonna suffer for that. She not smart enough to just play her position and shut the fuck up when it comes to trying to challenge them white men like that. And see, this is another reason why she's in danger doing it, because Candace, you've isolated yourself from the only real help that you would have if them people turn on you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to defend you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Bitch, you on your own. You've said too many egregious things about black folks for me to even come to your rescue. You're on your own. Better think about that, Candace. Let it continue.
I personally believe that he is a monster. And that is, by the way, Stephen, if you're watching, I'm not trying to extort you. I am just simply telling the truth. There was a lot of things that are going on, and I am glad that his wife found the strength to speak out. And I'm calling upon everybody to roundly condemn this, to reject this firmly, not to somehow come up with an excuse and say, oh, well, it's a divorce, so we shouldn't talk about it. We should mind our own business. No, the way that we represent ourselves privately and publicly should be the same. If you purport to care about family values, again, then you should care about this situation and you should condemn it. Yashar Ali also added in this article, in reviewing documentary evidence related to their marriage, Steven Crowder appears to be obsessed with the idea that his wife is only interested in him for money. Hillary Crowder started dating him well before he became famous and wealthy. He was making less than $100,000 a year when they got married. Again, the Crowder narrative never seems to line up with the reality. And on that note, for those of you that are asking for an update, yes, I did send a cease and desist to him regarding his comments that I somehow extorted him. I sent the cease and desist. I heard back from his lawyer. And essentially what I get from this is that his lawyer is saying that this was just his opinion and it was just Steven Crowder's feelings. And even though it wasn't reality, too bad, so sad. Here's exactly what that legal letter back to me said. I'm going to read you a couple of quotations. It says, the simple fact is that Ms. Owens, as shown in the clip, made thinly veiled threats directed at Mr. Crowder that she would release the alleged dirt she had on him if he kept making statements about the Daily Wire. Mr. Crowder's opinions fall short of any defamation. At most, he has merely opined comparatively the feeling of certain misconduct to his own present state of being. Then the subsequent use of the word threats is not in and of itself an accusation of crime, even within the larger context in which it was used. The most reasonable implication is not an accusation of crime, but that threats have occurred that fall short of being a crime. Again, at most, they are simply reminiscent in Mr. Crowder's personal opinion of the specifically referenced type of misconduct. In short, these are his feelings, they are not facts, and his opinions are protected. And to make it clear for those of you that thought there was something going on.
No, Candace, they're not saying that these are his thoughts and opinions and that they're protected. Your little ignorant ass don't understand. That's the polite way of telling you, bitch, you have no power against this white man. See, you heard her. I immediately sent him a cease and desist. Listen, Candace, Stephen will file his podcast tomorrow and say the same shit that you said, send a cease and desist letter. For those that don't know what that is, that's when your attorney sends somebody something to warn them, because that's the proper way to do it before you sue them. Or like slander, libel, defamation of character. But see, what she don't understand is Stephen can go file his podcast and say the same shit that you sent her that letter for and be like, bring it on, bitch. That's the white supremacist legal structure letting you know that this ain't going nowhere unless we say it will. Now, let me tell you what will go somewhere. Let Stephen get annoyed to the point that he has to send a cease and desist to her, and watch what happens if she keep talking. Remember that conversation that I told you that the white supremacist Mills was going to have with her husband? Yeah. Let that sink in for a minute. She got it all figured out, though. Let's let her educate us on how smart she thinks she is.
Background, or that someone had secretly threatened him. His lawyer is alleging that's not the case. He was simply referring to the exact clip that he showed you of me. Nothing else happened. He just wanted you guys to think that he was under duress in some other capacity. In short, as I have said, I believe Steven Crowder is an absolute monster, and I encourage all of the other people that he has victimized to find their strength to speak out now. By the way, his lawyer offered to me that we could both agree to a ceasefire if I agreed that I would never speak about Steven Crowder again. And to him, I would publicly like to say, your client doesn't have that kind of money to keep Candace Owens from speaking out about things that I find to be absolutely despicable.
Candace, once again, this is where your little ignorant, game goofy ass doesn't understand the system of white supremacy. A white supremacist male is at the top of the white supremacist structure. Candace, they don't need money to make you be quiet. Do you understand that? They don't need money to make you be quiet, Candace. Their whiteness is currency, not the money. They don't give a damn about no money. That $1 million worth of whiteness is all he needs to, if they really want to make you stop talking, he ain't gonna offer you no bag. That's the polite way of doing it if they decided to. No, he don't need a bag to make you stop talking, Candace. All he got to do is do what I said when it comes to checking your husband. Look here, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Now, either you gonna tell her to stop talking or we can make your life a living hell. See, the white male gives each other a pass about laying up with the wenchcraft class because they're supposed to have access to everything. They don't do it. See, let me go ahead and hurt the divestment dumbest feelings. The reason why white men give other white men a pass if they have black wives or they know they got a black girlfriend, they tolerate that because they're supposed to have access to everything. See, the Tetherwench class and the other bedwench class, they don't have sense enough to figure that out. It's not because he likes you. The white supremacist male mindset is everything on the planet is supposed to be at my beck and call. That's why they tolerate that. However, if your little plaything over there is a white supremacist male, get out of line, you get one warning. After that, they're like, okay, we'll show you better than we can tell you. See, that's the part they don't want to hear. And if you think I'm wrong, go back and look in history and see how some of them have got out of line over the years. And then the white folks get together and have that little powwow and correct that situation. Don't have to believe me. Don't have to believe me at all. All you got to do is look. History is right there for you to analyze in front of your face. Let me point something else out to you. In case you think that Steven Crowder and the rest of his little white supremacist thugs need money to make her be quiet, go back in time and look up what happened to Chandra Levy there. Yeah, Killer Condit, Gary Condit over there. Yeah. Former Congressman Gary Condit. What happened? He was having an affair on his wife. She was a side piece. Ended up getting pregnant, threatened to go to the media. What happened? Candace, you really don't understand what you're playing with. You really don't. But you're going to learn, though. Don't worry. You're going to learn. Mark my words. Just sit back and watch. I wouldn't be surprised if either she stopped talking about Steven or a retraction get made because they're going to deal with her husband first. See, they look at the male, they be like, hey, man, get your pet back on a leash. A lot of y'all probably think I'm harsh when I say stuff like that. I tell you what you do. Go back and listen to those tapes where Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon was talking about African people, black folks, okay? Particularly it was talking about continental Africans. Go back and listen to them tapes. You can pull that up online. Calling them monkeys and stuff like that. Yeah, just go back and listen to that. You listen to and study how white supremacists talk when it's just them. This is why on the broadcast that I just did previously here, I wanted you to hear those tapes where they were talking amongst themselves about our good brother, Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay? See, you have to study that when it's available to you so you can understand how they truly think when they're talking amongst each other. And this little delusional heifer actually think this man needs some money to make you be quiet. She really don't understand what she playing with. But hey, she got all the answers though. We don't know nothing. Let's let her continue to talk.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side. And no, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted. It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life, what I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible. But in today's legal system, my beliefs don't matter. In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it, period. So for well over a year, in the best interest as well as physical safety of my children, we've decided to keep this issue private and to resolve it privately with the appropriate attorneys, what have you, legal jargon. And all this, one thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless, completely without fault, and so we decided to resolve these issues privately, as it's in their best interests, both emotionally and physically, to do so. Now, the other issue is, and this is something that I've kept private for likely far too long, many other people knew about this behind the scenes. Some, not all, but some of them in positions of power, influence, leverage, knew of this. They also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well. Now, some of these threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Stephen has a lot going on. I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Stephen purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
Oh, my children have a right to privacy.
Now, family, you saw what Steven Crowder played regarding Candace Owens' statements. See, let me show you another way this could go also. Candace keep running her mouth, and she interferes with Stephen's wife getting that bag. Like somebody just said in the chat room, they'll turn full steam forward and focus on her ass. See, I wouldn't be surprised if that's about to happen if it hadn't already. His wife, even just because you come out and you put the cape on for her, again, she doesn't understand the privilege that white women have, particularly in these family court systems with divorce attorneys and such. If that white woman and her attorney say, listen here, this is threatening your bag, whatever, watch how they come after Candace. She better learn to stay out of white folks' business, man. This ain't got shit to do with her. But see, when you're on that coon crack, though, you think you're more important to them people than you really are. You're just a mascot, Candace. And see, the other thing she doesn't understand, when the Karen starts labeling you something, all it takes is her word to get people killed, like our young brother, Emmett Till and George Stinney Jr. That's one thing. The white man label you something, that label sticks permanently across the board. Across the board, Candace. See what's finna happen. You finna keep running your mouth. You over there at the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro. If it gets so bad, Ben gonna be like, hey, look here, Candace, you know, you've been a good little mascot, but we're gonna have to turn you loose there, pal. You gotta go. Now listen, don't argue. You got out of line, Candace, damn it. I'm just gonna tell you, you got out of line. You said too much. Now look, we don't like Steven Crowder either, but you're a negress. You're a little Tetherwench. You didn't know your place. My God, Candace, we told you before. Only speak when we give you a script. I'm just saying, you can see Ben Shapiro pulling her to the side with his little nasally voice and telling her just what I said. But see, hey, Candace is smart. We don't know nothing. We don't know nothing. We don't know nothing at all, family. She got it all figured out.
Now, some other issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife at a difficult time that it could be used, knowingly putting my children in harm's way. So to those self-styled Christians, conservatives, and allies, well, not in my book. Now, if you find yourself, I don't want to get into details, so this is going to likely be the only time I have to address this or want to address this. If you're asking yourself, hey, did X person or did Y person know? The answer is likely yes, which will be made alarmingly clear as this process of discovery continues. And it also, by the way, makes me that much more appreciative of those who did know about this and in understanding the best interests of my family, my children, kept their word and used discretion. I can't thank you enough. Sincerely, I appreciate it. Won't forget it. It's pretty simple. I loved a woman so much that I married her. A woman who, despite all of this, I still love as the mother of my children. And she wanted something else for her life. That's not my choice. She simply wanted out, and the law says that that's how it works. Now, of course, look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own in that I picked wrong, and that's certainly not the fault of my children. And I will say that what's in the best interest of my children is not internet drama, speculation, certainly not blatant or veiled shakedowns or dragging their father or mother, and I can't be clear on that enough, or their mother through the mud. And to anyone who tries it, I'm no longer going to pacify, capitulate, or sidestep because I love them a whole lot more than I love you. And I will continue to do whatever is necessary to protect my children. Discussing the divorce any further on social media or on this show or in any public space is not what's best for them. I'll be handling this through the proper legal avenues and channels available as a matter of record in which I have more than full confidence. So I'd ask that you understand the need for and respect our privacy in what is obviously a pretty tough time.
There it is right there, family. Did you hear what he just said? See, Candace is too stupid to realize when she's been given a warning. She don't understand that the justice system, so-called justice system in America, works completely different for white men. Completely different. Go back and look at the situation between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Saw how that turned out. You had a lot of little goofy flunkies over in spaces, and a lot of these spaces over here cheering for Johnny Depp. Telling that's a win for all men. No, that's a win for white men. No black man has that kind of power and authority to come out that situation the way he did. Okay, let's get that clear. Stephen's giving her the warning. I'm pretty sure by now, knowing how they operate, like I said, her husband probably already done got that phone call. She keep on running her mouth, she gonna cost her husband a lot more than just some money. It's coming. It's coming.
And I hope that none of this has to go any further than that.
Steven Crowder on election night was our friend. He was on the backstage with all of us, laughing, having a great time. He even sent me a retrospectively very flirty message thereafter on Instagram about how nice I looked on election night, even though I didn't respond to it.
Look what she tried to pull here too, okay? I put this in here for a reason. She tried to pull the Karen, he was flirting with me. See, Candace, even if he was, family, go back to what I just said about how white men operate, have operated historically here in America. White men are supposed to be able to do that and get away with it. So even if he was, you think you outing him, that's going to make other white men, let's just say it out loud. You think outing him about that is going to make other white men go, oh, how could you do that, Stephen? No, they're going to be like, yeah, well, that's what they're for. That's what they're for. That's how they look at it. You think other white women are going to back you? Oh, my God, he was flirting with you. You really think that? See, just say some of that stuff out loud sometime and think about how stupid it sounds. But you know what? I want y'all to hear the rest of this clip here. I want y'all to hear.
Well, the
The youngest was 14.
Oh, wow.
The youngest, and this person was labeled a racist. Like, that's, to me, is like, that's harsh.
Right.
And people say, oh, you're too forgiving.
Well, how
but
do you not label them a racist? Because what they said was most certainly racist.
yes, the words are racist, right? Can somebody, I guess the question.
Now, I want you to hear what she's about to say while she's talking to Joe Rogan, known white supremacist. Okay, we're going to call him what he is. I want you to hear how delusional this woman is. Listen to what she's about to say. This is going to be the most asinine shit, and which going to let you know that the Tetherwench class of mindset is beyond suicidal. I want y'all to listen to this.
Is, can somebody say something, say a word that is racist and not be a racist human being? Yes. I think, no, I'm going to tell you why yes, okay?
Okay.
Now you heard what she said. Hold on. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. I want to make sure everybody caught that. Let's run it back. Run it back. I want y'all to hear this one more time. To see, when we tell you that these people are suicidal, the words that just came out of her mouth about racism, this is beyond delusional and asinine right here. Let's play it one more time.
Oh, wow.
The youngest, and this person was labeled a racist. Like, that's, to me, is like, that's harsh.
Right.
And people say, oh, you're too forgiving.
Well, how
but
do you not label them a racist? Because what they said was most certainly racist.
yes, the words are racist, right? Can somebody, I guess the question is, can somebody say something, say a word that is racist and not be a racist human being? Yes. I think, no, I'm going to tell you why yes, okay?
Okay.
It was somebody stand up I was watching. I actually don't remember who it was. Like, maybe it was Louis C.K., I don't know. But he was saying how he, like, instantly turns into a racist. Like, if somebody cuts him off and it's like a Chinese person, like, he, like, instantly the first thing he says is like something to do with him being Chinese, right?
Right.
And there's a little bit of that in all of us. Like, I was walking through New York City the other day, and like a huge bus like just happened to like stop in front of me, and like literally 45 Asians got off, and suddenly I was just like, I couldn't like walk around. I'm like, oh, I was like, why do Asians always travel in packs, right? Like, the most bizarre thing. Like, I don't have an issue with them taking a bus and traveling. And then afterwards I giggled. I was like, what a stupid thing, what a stupid thought to even to have, because I'm frustrated in a moment that I can't like get my bearings in New York City. So yes, I think that people in a moment of frustration, of anger, if you add alcohol, if you add Ambien, right, and are coming from a place of upset, they can just do something that's stupid without holding this like whole word for the rest of their life. You're 14, you're racist, and forever.
There you have it, family. That bag of dog shit just said somebody can say something racist and not be a racist. Do you know how dementedly insane and beyond stupid you have to be to actually say something like that and believe it? See, sometimes these coons, man, half that coon crack, they'll sit before certified white supremacists like Joe Rogan and actually say things where they'll be in all that. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. You saw the look on his face. He's like, you that fuck on you over cooning. Salute to our brother Cyberdyne 100 for the cash out. Thank you very much for that generous donation, my brother. Hey, speaking of the name Cyberdyne, we need to come up with some coon terminators. That's what we need out here, man. Boy, these people, boy. Family, I brought you this broadcast here tonight to show you just how far gone Candace Owens and those like her are, whether they're of our lineage or not. These people, man, we have to make sure we ostracize them away from us and protect ourselves at all times against these types of people. There is no hope for them. There's nothing we can do to explain anything away. No, they consider them, when you confirm that they have that mindset, you're looking at a white supremacist, not just a collaborator. No, you are a white supremacist and dark skin. Our concern is this, though. We're going to show you what our concern is, family. Because, see, one of the things that we have to start doing today in the modern era with the technology that we have to make sure that we use it to our benefit. This is what our concern is today. Our concern is identifying this cowardly white supremacist that took our brother's life from us. This white supremacist is out there somewhere. These are 3 close-ups of his face. To my own code New York City brothers and sisters, it needs to be top priority to identify this man. Somebody knows him. He was in the military as a Marine. chances are he's got relations to the race soldiers, which is why they immediately, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the fastest I've ever seen them scrub social media. Okay, now I'm using some methods to find this bastard, and you know if I identify him, I'm gonna let everybody know it. Or you know I will put his identity out there if I find it, and I am working on it. Okay? This is the fastest I've ever seen them remove people's stuff, because see, the reason why I know that, I've used certain methods, and I don't like to discuss how we do certain things, but I've used certain methods, and man, you can't find a trace. You can't find a trace. See, there's ways, even with just a picture, to identify what somebody's name is. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna go into all detail about that. There are ways. I'm working on them. I'm not going to rest until I can find whatever I can find. Because like I said, if he pops back up online anywhere, we're gonna find him. We'll get to it. It can't be just on one individual though. We all must undertake the task of protecting each other. So I want you to get a good look at these 3 screenshots of this face. You saw in tonight's broadcast the name of the person, the white Hispanic, and I'm gonna call him what he is, who took the video. All of this is something that you must use in order to find these people. There's no way in this age, this day and age, that we should be able to not find out somebody's identity. Okay? They're able to find out black people's identity all the time. Because let's be clear, the mainstream media and the police, they know who this guy is. They know who he is. They know who he is. Family, we got to protect each other. That's all it is to it. We can't take white supremacy as a game. It is the greatest threat to our people. And until we deal with that threat and make sure we dismantle that system of white supremacy, none of us will ever be safe. Especially when we have those wearing our skin amongst us that are a threat to us. So family, make sure you keep your head on the swivel out there. Salute and respect to everybody that joined us here in this broadcast tonight. I hope it was very informative. I hope you all will study this and use it not only for what I just mentioned about finding that demonic coward, but also as a diagnosis tool of how mentally ill and insane the Tetherwench class is, okay? The Tether class, period. Once they start cooning like that, they're a threat to our people. But that's it. Salute to you all. Black first. I will see you all in future content.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tariq Nasheed, and I'm inviting you to the Foundational Black American Expo going down May 27th, 2023, right here in the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas. This is an event you don't want to miss. It's going down at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, and this is an empowerment event that you can invite the whole family to. We're going to have seminars and workshops that discuss things like business development, education, health and wellness, self-defense, and some of you businesses out there, we have vending opportunities where you can promote your businesses. Plus, we're going to have so many phenomenal speakers and guests. We got people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, who's coming down, Professor James Small, Sister Vicky Dillard, Riza Islam, Dr. Kaba Kamene, Ben X, Tahuti Mayad Ra, Erica Lachey, Red Pill, Blue Pill, so many people. So, get your tickets now at FBAExpo.com. That's FBAExpo.com. We will see you here.